Today we are doing some knife sharpening live. I got a bunch of different things pulled out to help people understand different methods and different ways to properly sharpen your knife. A lot of the information on the internet is completely wrong and is teaching you how to destroy your knife, or is teaching you how to get a very, very, very temporary edge that's sharp, but it's not a properly sharpened edge. A properly sharpened edge is designed to continue staying sharp over long periods of time and is made to be maintenance. So meaning you can maintain the level of sharpness over time because it's set properly. So we're going to talk about stuff. I have a couple different tools out here that you can easily find down in the description. I will tell you where to find them. There's basically links to all the sharpening supplies down there. But we're going to start off with what I think is all really you need. This is all you really need. You need a stone holder, a 300 grit, and a 600 grit. Diamond plate. Diamond plate, diamond plate, diamond plate. Don't go with the water stones, wet stones, oil stones. Forget about all of those. Get 2 diamond plates. I have so many different sharpening stones, and I don't need any of them as long as I have diamond plates. I love my resin bonded. Do I need them? Technically, no. But if you want like the most high performance edges, then yeah. But as far as beginners learning, you take away a massive amount of struggle by just getting diamond plates. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for joining. So we're going to start off. We're going to talk about different blade shapes, sharpening different blade shapes, but I also want to show you guys how to keep your knives or your edges sharp very quickly. And I'm going to show you one right now. I'm going to sharpen a knife in 10 seconds on a ceramic rod and show you how you can properly maintain an edge. I should have grabbed a couple chef knives. So let me just reach over and grab a knife. I got a bunch of different knives pulled out. So in order to show that this one is dull, I'm gonna have to dull it because I don't think it's very dull right now. But just very quickly, you know what? Actually, let's just this one. It's never been sharpened. It's literally a factory edge. Beautiful knife though. Definitely recommend it. It's a front flipper. This one's the Damascus with the emerald, the Tiffany blue G10. Isn't that gorgeous? G10. Titanium bolsters. There's a budget version of this. This is the premium version. Let's see. So it's almost cutting paper, but then it stops because it just doesn't. There it goes. It's very, very nippy. So this would be a good example of a knife you could easily bring back. I'm also, give me one second. I'm going to grab a chef knife as well. Because I know a lot of people, at the very least have a chef knife. So I want to grab a chef knife. I'm going to dull it on a stone here in 1 second, and then we will do that one. Now, if your edge is too far gone, this isn't going to work as well because at that point you need to resharpen. But this is honing. This is a ceramic honing rod. You can find it down in the NEEVESKNIVES store, which is just, there's NEEVEKNIVECO in the Neeves Knife store. That is the basically Amazon. But I also have, sorry guys, my alerts are probably going to go crazy. Let me shut this off really quick. 2 seconds, guys. Sorry. There we go. All right. So this one is from WorkSharp. So you can just go to Amazon, put in WorkSharp, or go to my Neeves Knife store, type in WorkSharp. Okay, so see how it has angle guides right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and do not mistake this for one of these. These are absolute garbage. If you have a metal honing rod, throw it in the fucking garbage. You don't want that shit. It doesn't work. This is what works. That is not an abrasive. A metal honing rod is doing the opposite of what you want in an edge. This is an actual abrasive. So my goal when I'm sharpening, I want to grab a pen and draw a picture for you guys because this is important when it comes to sharpening. So very quickly, let's say that's my edge, right? Your goal is to create microscopic teeth, which is the scratch pattern or the abrasive you're using to go from the top of the bevel down to the apex. Every single one of these is a little micro serration on your edge bevel. And that is a proper edge bevel. It has the little teeth. If you zoomed in with a microscope, it would look like a little serrated blade, right? So the metal rod, you're cutting those off. It's like taking a saw blade and just dragging it across a brick or something. You're just cutting the teeth off. Even if it does get a little sharper as far as edge angle, it loses the bite, which is the micro serration. So we have this. Here's a 20, these are about 20 degrees. So I'm just gonna go like that, all right, yeah, it's 20 degrees. I'm gonna put it at the angle, and I'm just gonna drop it straight down. Once the edge hits the stone, I'm going to hold that angle as I go down, bam, just like that. Now, I like to put it against my chest on the second one, and I go backwards the opposite way. I'm only gonna do this a couple times, just very, very, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure. The stone can do all the work. I add a little bit of pressure, enough to maintain the angle, right? I'm going to do a couple gentle passes now, very gentle passes. I'm going to do one more super, super gentle pass. Now, let's see if that worked. Feels like it does. And I haven't even stropped yet. Yeah, that's much, much better. Now it actually will drag across without... And that was 2 seconds. So is this a super sharp edge? No, that's not the point of this. The point of this is just to bring your edge back quickly. We're going to do another one here in 1 second. But now I would hit it on a strop. So ceramic rod, strop, everybody should have this. I think everybody should have 2 diamond plates as well, but at the very least have this. You'd be surprised how long you can keep edges going with just these two tools. But you have to do them before your edge gets chips and rolls and is all messed up. Look at that. That was 1 second. Now, this is a chef knife. We're going to do this one too, but first I'm going to destroy the edge. So this is a sharpening stone. These are diamonds. Ooh, that always feels bad when you do this to your edge. It's like dragging it across a brick. We're going to do it a couple more times. I'm actually going to do it to my diamond plate. Diamond plate. 300 grit diamond plate, too. Ooh. Can't cut nothing, right? And then you can also do it just like this, where you go back and forth. But yeah, if you have those metal honing rods, which a lot of people do because they come with a knife block, get a ceramic one and replace it. They're literally setting you up for failure. That's designed for you to need more knives, because it's not going to do anything for your edge. I know people are going to say, well, then Gordon Ramsay. Yes, Gordon Ramsay was wrong. Gordon Ramsay is not a knife sharpener. He's a fucking cook. Leave knife sharpening up to knife sharpeners. See that? So how long did that take? Just a few seconds. Now, I didn't say that was sharpening my edge. That was honing the edge. Basically, what I did with the ceramic rod just now is I cut in a micro bevel, because this 20-degree edge bevel is higher than my actual edge angle. My actual edge angle is probably about this, right? And the micro bevel's done at this angle. So it's just cutting it in very quickly, because if you have a low edge angle on your knife, cutting in a high edge angle goes fast. Because with anything over this angle, like if I go to this angle, that's obtuse. It's way higher, so it's just going to automatically hit the apex. So that's kind of the concept, is just you're reapplying a new edge bevel at the apex. Now, why is this superior to the metal one? Well, this is an abrasive, and if you noticed, when I'm going across like this, that abrasive is cutting in those scratches, those micro serrations we were talking about right here, right? It's cutting these in. So now it has a proper edge bevel, proper teeth. Even though I didn't fully sharpen it and it was just a micro bevel and it's just honing it, it still is doing it the proper way, right? Rather than, say, a metal one, which is cutting those off and is running scratches the opposite direction. It just doesn't work. So throw those things in the garbage, get yourself a tool. Now, the one problem with these is that don't drop them. It is ceramic. It will shatter. A metal one won't. So that's the one benefit. However, what you can do is get this exact same thing in a diamond. A 1200 grit diamond, have a diamond one and a ceramic one. And you technically have everything you need in the kitchen as far as sharpening, well, once you have a strop. But you should get, if you want to do full sharpenings and actually reprofile and cut in new bevels and have super sharp edges and that last a long time, that are easy to maintain. By maintaining it, you're going to hone and you're going to strop like we just did. That way you don't have to do as much sharpening, but having a good diamond plate, 300 grit, 600 grit is all you need. Now I can sharpen any steel on diamonds, and that's the beauty. With a oil stone or water stones, you can't use those on every steel. So you can only use those on mid-grade steels and basically budget steels. Their abrasive is not hard enough to cut the carbides that are in high performance steels. For an example, like the knife I have in my pocket, right? This is Rex 45. This I have to sharpen with diamonds. I have to. So if you have diamonds, then you have the stones that'll work for everything. Now, and also the reason why I recommend the diamonds the most, aside from they cut everything, they cut fast and they don't dish. So dishing is like on an oil stone. When you sharpen, you actually burn it out and it makes a dish, and then you have to flatten it, and then you got to buy other stuff to flatten it. So now one stone is costing you like 10 times as much just to use it. This, you don't have to do anything. You set it down just like I did right here. You don't have to put water on it. You don't have to do anything. You can literally just start sharpening. There's no frustration. You don't have to get it wet. You don't have to deal with a mess. You don't have to deal with your hands getting, wrinkles and stuff because they're wet from, using it. You don't do any of that. You just go to town. Now, quick trick. I also, in a second, we're going to check this out. This is a good little investment if you don't want to have to buy the stone holder, the diamonds. You can get a whole system like this. I think there's like 50 bucks, which you're getting 2 diamonds and a ceramic all in one with this system. And it has the angle guides there for you. So you don't have to hold your own angle. Now, if you do get this system, you can buy an angle guide. These are like 5 bucks. The box, I dropped the box over there, but you can get a whole box of them, all different angles. So you just lay it down on your stone just like that. Get your angle, line it up, and go like that. Now I don't want to, I'm gonna just do my own angle, but this is what you can do. Or here's what it looks like with a chef knife. You just lay it down, lay the knife on there, drop it till it hits, and now hold that angle. That's it. Now, the part that people mess up on or that take them a while to learn is the understanding of the burr, understanding what you're waiting for. How long do I do that for, right? Because people will do it a few times and like, why isn't my knife sharp, right? Because you haven't done what you're supposed to do, which is, Kara, can you bring me a pen? Which is making sure your scratch pattern goes from the top of the bevel down to the apex. And so how you know that is you look at it. So every time you go across the stone, a dozen or so times, you look at your edge. So again, here is the knife. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to draw this picture, which will make it make sense so you know what to look for. Now, I can technically pull out the microscope if needed and show you what it looks like in real life without a drawing, because I can't show you on the camera right now because it's just too microscopic. But you can see it with your naked eye if you're looking at your edge. If you just take a knife out of your pocket or, out of anywhere, and look, it has an edge bevel on it, right? The edge bevel has these scratches that go from the top down to the apex. So you want these scratches to run like that at an angle, creating little tiny teeth. So that's your goal. So you want to sharpen until you see these scratches reach the apex. So as I'm dragging my knife across the stone, I'm paying attention to that. I'm going to go, say, 20 passes, right? I'm going to do 20 passes, and then I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to see, has my scratches reached the apex? Pay attention to your scratches that are different from the original scratches, because there's going to be the original scratches that were already on it and now yours. So look at it, and if it only looks like just like a little tiny shiny line, you've only just begun. Continue doing it until it gets bigger and bigger, until it completely reaches the apex. Then once you see these scratches reach the apex, now you want to check for a burr. You just rub your finger like this. If you're sharpening this side, the burr's going to fold over to the opposite side. That is when you know for sure you've reached the apex. This is your goal. And this is the part where people struggle and they fail at sharpening because they did not stay on the stone long enough and they didn't know what to look for. What is the goal, right? The goal isn't just to get sharp. The goal is to reach the apex, create a micro burr, or create a burr, sorry, and then remove the burr. Because the burr, this is what a burr is. Let me show you. Because this, understanding this changes everything for knife sharpening. You can take and basically not understand anything about knife sharpening and then tomorrow have a great understanding of how to sharpen a knife. It's just the understanding of it. So when I'm sharpening, right, when I sharpen this side, there's going to be a burr that forms. That's a little metal wire, and that's going to run all the way down the apex. It's going to be just like a metal wire that runs all the way down the apex. So now your goal is to fatigue that and flip it back and forth until it snaps off, or until you diminish it enough to reveal, because once that's gone, what do you have? You have a sharp apex, because now that metal wire that you built up at the tip is gone. So now you have your apex. That is how you reveal a sharp edge. So first, you have to cut in your bevel. So whether you're going to use an angle guide like this one, which I do recommend, these things work great and it'll help you be able to kind of know where to hold the knife at. This one's 17 degrees. Go anywhere between, it depends on the knife, but I would say stay between 17 and 20. The higher the angle, the faster it'll go. The lower the angle, the longer it will take. 15-degree bevel will take way longer than a 23-degree bevel. Now, what are the difference between that? Well, the lower the angle, the one that takes longer, is sharper, much sharper. The higher the angle, the tougher the edge is, the more you can impact things. That's why fixed blades like choppers and stuff have high angles, because they're designed for toughness. Knives like pocket knives, chef knives, things like that, you want a little bit of a lower angle. Depends on what you're doing with your knife, the purpose, the steel. There's a lot of variables, but you know, right? If you're hitting staples and things like that and cutting stupid shit, you might want a little bit of a tougher edge. But if you're cutting the things you're supposed to cut, cardboard, paper, plastic, rope, zip ties, things like that, then your main purpose or your main goal is sharpness and edge retention. The sharper it is, the better your edge retention, but the lower the toughness. I know that's hard to understand because people think, well, if it's not tough, then wouldn't that be the edge retention? Wouldn't it, if it gets chips and things like that, that's the edge retention? No, there's two separate things there. So wear resistance and edge retention is how long it stays sharp cutting through normal things. Toughness is going to be its ability to take impact, right? Now hardness, the harder it gets, it actually can become more stable, because a soft steel will morph, like basically bend, and instead of chipping out, it will dent. So you want a harder steel in most cases, unless if it's like a hard use fixed blade where you're really being abusive to your knife. You want to, you want edge retention. You want a knife that, because also what comes with edge retention and what comes with a higher hardness for a steel. And right now, all we're talking about is the hardness of the steel and the kind of steel. Like this is 14C28M. It's a simple steel, but it's a great steel for a chef knife. It's a great steel for a pocket knife. It's an extremely tough steel that has a decent holding edge, like a 3 out of 10, which is still decent. Most steels that you guys deal with that you buy from the gas station and Walmart are like a 0 out of 10. So just put it that way. So 3 out of 10 is not bad. That's a good edge holding steel. It's nothing compared to a 10 out of 10, but a 10 out of 10, now we're talking about some super high performance steels. And that's where the wear resistance goes up. Now, sharpness comes from your edge angle. What edge angle are you sharpening at? That is going to determine the sharpness of your edge. Second is the bite. That's the teeth. So you have your edge angle, which is the size of the bevel. So how we drew this, the size of this. Is it up this high or is it small, right? That's your angle. So the bigger it is, the lower your edge angle. Now, the lower the edge angle, now there's going to be a limit. There's always a balancing point. There's always a tipping point, but having a lower angle does give you a better chance of stropping and honing easier because the apex is thinner. It's just geometry, right? A thick edge like this is going to take longer to maintain than something like this, which is very thin. So I'm just opening up this page really quick so I can actually see you guys, because right now I can't even see your comments. I want to be able to read them. I apologize. I should have had this set up. It'll only take me 2 seconds.
About these terms in a bit.
Turn down the volume. Turn down the what? Okay, this should be good. There we go. All right. Now let me read the comments. Where are they? Here we go. Thank you guys for joining, by the way. We have 306 people in here. Now, right now, I already have a burr. So I already have that wire we were talking about. Sharpen this side. I've set my bevel. I can see my scratch pattern is going from the top down to the apex at an angle. That's another thing. You want your teeth to go at an angle. The reason why, it's the same concept as serrations, a saw blade, anything like that. Now, it's okay if they go straight up and down, but that's usually from a factory edge. Like if I break out a knife that still has a factory edge, you'll notice the scratches at the edge bevel are straight up and down. So they still have the serrations, but they're just running straight up and down because that's the direction the belt goes. When you sharpen it yourself, it's better to run them at an angle. Why? Because that's the direction you cut. So when you're sharpening, you're trying to get your scratch pattern to go this direction because that's the direction you cut. And now the teeth are going to aim at the things you cut. And then each one of these is a little serration with little teeth. And so we have edge angle, which is sharpness, right? That's right now we're doing a 17-degree edge bevel with this. So 17 is a phenomenal edge angle for most pocket knives, chef knives, things like that. You can go lower even, but that's a good edge angle. It has better edge retention than a 20-degree bevel, so it's going to stay sharper longer as long as you're not abusing it. Now, so we have the edge angle, which is sharpness. Then we have the teeth, which are the scratch patterns. So that's what this stone is doing. While I'm cutting in the bevel, these little diamonds are also creating the micro serrations. So we have sharpness and then teeth, right? So the teeth are going to be dependent on what stone you stop at. This is a 300 grip. So I wouldn't use this one to finish on. I would use this one to set my bevel and then move to another stone to finish my scratch pattern. This delivers a scratch pattern too, and technically I could just finish on this, but it's better to have a good balance between toothiness and fineness. You don't want it to be too aggressive. So sharpen this side, right? My burrs fold over this way. I can feel it. I'm gonna knock it over to the other side. And the reason why is because as I move through my stones, I want the burr that we talked about, that wire at the apex, to flip back and forth. Just like a paper clip. Think about a paper clip, right? How many times can you bend a paper clip back and forth before it snaps? Not very many. Same concept here. We want that burr to flip over and over and over. So by the time we're about to finish and remove our burr, it just snaps right off and reveals a great apex. So now we have the other side. We're going to sharpen it up, 17 degrees, same thing, very easy. I take this little angle finder. I don't need this, but I'm showing you guys because it's just a few dollars and you guys can get one very easily and sharpen all your kitchen knives or any knife. But you know, kitchen knives are very easy to learn on, or much easier. And the reason why is because it's just thin. The thinner the edge, the better and the faster it's going to be. So if you want to learn how to sharpen, I recommend two different things. Either one, get a chef knife that's nice and thin, that doesn't have a lot of damages, or get like a Civivi or a Sencut. Civivi knives, Sencut knives for pocket knife, as long as I'm saying if you want a pocket knife, these are very thin. They do great geometry, they do good heat treatment, so it allows you to sharpen a steel that's good and a geometry on the steel that's good. And the problem with doing, like, say, a gas station knife, like an M-Tech or, you know, Smith & Wesson, those are absolute dog shit steels. Like, dog shit. I wouldn't be caught with one of those in my pocket because they're dog shit. So sharpening it, it's never good. Like, people ask me all the time, what's the most difficult steel you've ever sharpened? Gas station knives, because their heat treatments are shit. They're soft and you can't remove the burr. It doesn't hold sharpness. It doesn't get sharp. Like, yeah, of course they get sharp, right? But compared to a steel with a good heat treatment, no comparison. So your experience sharpening, if you've ever sharpened a knife and you're like, man, I just couldn't do it, a lot of times, man, it was the heat treat. It's not even your fault. Your knife was shit. So heat treatment's everything. It's kind of like eating a cake, right? There's good cake and there's bad cake, right? It's just the way it's cooked. Same thing with a steel. The way it's cooked is going to depend on everything. Is it done perfectly well, right? Or is it so hard you're going to break your teeth on it? Or is it still like dough and it's still mushy in the middle? That's a soft steel, and that's usually what you get from shit steels. They normally are never too hard. They're normally too soft. Now, I have my burr on this side, right? So sharpen this side. My burr's like this, right? I have that metal wire, and I can feel it going like this. Like, I can show you. Let me show you. I'm going to grab a paper towel just to show you the fibers. So, see this paper towel? I'm going to scrape the burr across it. Now, look. Oh, you guys see it on that side? Yeah. So, look at the edge. Look at the little fibers on the... Let me do it again so you can really see it. So if you look, you'll see little fibers are hanging on to it. That's the burr snagging the paper towel. I can feel it. I just rub my finger up like this, not over, just up, just like this. And I can feel it. It's like it's stopping. You can feel the other side to feel what it feels like to not have a burr. The side you sharpened won't have the burr because you've pushed it over to that side. So you feel it. Now the burr's on that side. So now I just switch to my next stone. We did a 300 grit. This is a 600 grit we're going to switch to. Ultra Sharps. These are, I have an Ultra Sharp and DMT. They're basically the same thing. One just costs more. These ones are USA made. DMTs, Ultra Sharps are made from China, but you're going to save money. So depending on what you want to do. But we're going 600 grit. So we did a 300 grit. Now a 600 grit. You see how fast that was? This is my finishing stone. And watch how sharp this is when I'm done. So I have my burr. We're going to flip it over, like I said, because we want to flip the burr back and forth, right? So I'm just flipping it over to the other side with some stropping passes. No pressure when you do this. This is one of the biggest failures too people make, is when they go to focus on removing the burr, they think they have to put pressure when you want the opposite of that, because you don't want to hurt your scratch pattern. You're just trying to like snag something. It's like kind of like getting a hook and straightening it out, right? You want that hook to grab it and then pull. That's kind of the concept. So a couple gentle passes, no pressure at all. Now it's flipped over. So now I'm prepared to sharpen this side. So I'm gonna take my 17 degrees, do the same exact thing until now my edge bevel with the micro serrations has changed from a very toothy edge to a little bit finer of an edge. The scratch pattern's closer and the serrations are smaller. You don't want, like, there's cases where you want a super toothy edge, and then there's cases where you want a medium grit edge, and then there's mirror polished edges. Even with a mirror polished edge, you still have a scratch pattern even if you can't see it. It's still there, it's just on a microscopic level. So right there, I'm already done with the 600 grit on this side. There's the burr, I can feel it. So now, again, I'm going to flip it over. And now I'm going to sharpen this side, and then we're going to do the burr removal. And that's literally the whole sharpening. That was everything. So now I'm going to hold this angle, let it slide down till it hits. Now I'm going to hold that as I go across the stone. When I want to get to the tip, I just lift my elbow. I'm locking my wrist. So when I go across the stone, I don't have to worry about changing angle. It's the same angle. When I want to get to the tip, I just lift my elbow. Because there's two angles, right? You have this. Sorry, you have this angle, right? So this is the edge angle I want to keep. And then you have this angle, which is the shape of the blade. In order to get to the tip, I don't have to change this. I have to change this. That's my elbow. So when you're coming across the stone, don't do this. Don't let your wrist do this at all. Like that's the magic, right? The magic is all on your wrist. Lock that fucker in, hold it, and as you come across the stone, lift your elbow. You can also use your body a little bit by leaning. And if you're going to move anything, just move your shoulder and elbow, but lock this in. That way, you don't have to worry about your edge angle fluctuating, which will be what basically prevents you from setting your bevel perfectly. Bang, already got a burr, we're done. Now I just have to remove my burr. Now let me show you something. If I take a piece of paper and I try to cut it right now, nothing will happen, right? I just sharpened. Technically my knife is sharp. Oh, well, actually it's even cutting with a burr, but you can see it's not good, right? Right, there's a burr left on it. So now let's remove the burr. I can do one of two things. I can remove the burr on the stone I'm using. I prefer, if you want the best of the best, I prefer getting a finer stone, a ceramic, like kind of like I was telling about this system. This has a ceramic that you see right there, and then 2 diamond plates. So that would be basically what we're going to do here. I'm going to use my diamond rod. I should have kept that piece of paper. Let's get a new one. So I'm going to remove the burr now. So my burr is on this side. This is how I'm going to remove the burr. You do this either on, you can do this on a flat stone or on the rod, but the concept is, like I said, no pressure. You're just trying to get that burr that's flipped over like this right now to snag back over there. Then we're going to flip it back and back until it snaps off. So right now, very light, no pressure. And I'm going to go from tip to heel, not heel to tip. So that's it, bam. Just to the other side. Let's go back and forth. Very gentle, no pressure. Like I said, I don't want to change my scratch pattern. This is a very, very hard stone. So it literally has everything it needs to knock this damn burr off. It does not need any of your help aside from, you know, sliding it across pretty well. Hopefully I didn't add too much pressure there. All right, let me strap now. And then it should be pretty much removed. We'll double check it, but now you can technically, if you're worried about stropping, like, and you don't know about the angle, you could get this thing and like just check it and then try to hold it and maintain it. But stropping, just, you know, I would say just do it freehand and try to figure it out, because that's going to help you learn how to hold an angle better. But stropping is a diamond, well, on mine, I recommend getting a diamond abrasive. So this is leather on wood, but that's not the important part. The important part is this green stuff or whatever color, right? It's diamond compound. So this is a diamond spray. I spray it on there. I let it dry. It takes about 30 seconds for this stuff, right? Other stuff takes a long time. This is the best though. This is stroppy stuff. If you want the best, diamond emulsion, this is the best. I have it linked in the NEEVEKNIVECO store. If you just go to NEEVEKNIVECO, I think it's the first link down in the description. You will. This is a toothy edge, but look at that. Now, see that? Now the burr's not snagging because we removed it. Very, very sharp, and I can still refine it more from there if I want to. Like, if I would have removed it on a flat stone, it would have been even better. A round stone's just fine. It works. But a flat stone's a little bit better because I'm gonna, I don't know, it winds up leading to better results. And I like to remove my burr normally on either an ultra fine ceramic or an ultra fine resin bonded diamond. Those are expensive, so I didn't want to bring it up during this. But 300 grit and a 600 grit right there. We did everything just now with these 3 or 4 things, right? Technically, we didn't need this for this thing because I could have removed the burr on my stone. You just do the exact same thing, just like we did. You just do it on the stone, very gentle, right? But even more gentle on these because these are diamonds, which is harder than ceramic. So with this, you want to go very, 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 very light when you're removing the burr. When you're sharpening, you add a couple pounds of pressure. Not enough to where you're struggling to hold your angle, but just enough that you can feel the diamonds cutting into the steel. So people always worry about, well, how much pressure should I put? It's not that important. So you can use very little pressure or more pressure, but if you add too much pressure, it's going to be difficult to hold the angle. So you just got to find that balance, whatever works for you. It's not that big of a deal. Putting more pressure will cut a little bit faster, but it also might backfire because your angle's not going to be held perfectly. The most important part is that when you're going across the stone, you hold that angle perfectly. And then to get to the tip, you just use your elbow. Now, let me show you guys something. Pocket knife. Same concept, right? Same concept. When I have my angle, I hold it. Now, in order to get to the tip, what do? I raise my elbow. I do not fluctuate my wrist. So once I find the angle I want, let's say it's right there, and the angle you choose is important, but when you're learning sharpening, what's more important is just being able to hold it. So whatever angle you pick one. Just make sure it's not too low, make sure it's not too high, right in the middle. That's 90 degrees, that's 45 degrees. If you cut that in half again, that's about 22.5 degrees, which is a perfect angle to learn sharpening on. So now, as I'm coming across the stone, I'm locking my wrist. My wrist is locked. But when I want to get to the tip, I'm going to just lift my elbow. So that's how the motion we're going to do when we're going across the stone. Push it across, lift my elbow. Now I'm going to show you guys another trick I like to do. But this trick, you do have to be careful because it can not cut you, but it can start wearing your skin off. So you can put your thumb on the stone like this, right? And just gently let it glide. No pressure, right? Just glide. And then pick a spot in the middle of your thumb. So like mine, I'll pick a spot right on the knife. So like say if I say this is my spot, right there. And match it to both sides. Okay, right there's the spot. You guys see that? That's where I'm going to allow my thumb to set. Now what I can do is I can literally do a dot right there on my thumb too. Dot on my thumb, dot on the blade. Now I literally have my perfect edge angle. I just set it down right there, and then as I'm going across the stone, I make sure that dot and my dot on my finger stay the exact same, but I don't put pressure on my thumb. I let it float. It's floating. And then when I want to get to the belly, as I'm going across the stone, I just lift my elbow until it gets to the tip. That easy. That will help you maintain an edge angle as long as you're not applying pressure, because you don't want to burn yourself out. All right, if there's any questions, let them roll now, because I'm going to read through some comments and then we'll sharpen this up. All right. What's the hard part for you, Jared? Hell yeah, thank you so much. What knife is it? What knife is it? Which one? So this is the Escort. The Kizer Escort. It uses a clutch lock, very strong locking system, and it's adjustable. So you can make the detent stronger or lighter. A detent is just what holds the blade in. So this uses a detent ball, and that's what gives you the resistance. So you can flip it open. There's ceramic bearings in the pivot. Yeah.
You're not advertising the hobby anymore, because it's gone.
No. I don't know. Oh yeah, I heard that they were getting rid of it. Anyways, so the reason why it's so smooth and it drops like that, because this is on ceramic cage bearings. This is the KUBEY carved. Everything is linked down in the description. Kizer is linked down there. Just look for Kizer in my links and you'll find it. This is the Escort. Click on the Kizer link, write Escort on the top search bar, and this will come up. It's you guys heard that. Okay, so but the other one, this one, if you were asking about this one a second ago, this one is the Reverie. And then this is a Tucson. The follow through. What do you mean the follow through? You mean when you're going across the stone? Is that what you mean? So when you get to the tip, right, you can kind of push your thumb just a little bit to make sure you get the tips. Like right now, I lifted my elbow up. I know I'm reaching the tip right now, so I might just push my thumb just a little bit just to drive the tip into it. But this works very, very well. and can make you repeat the angle, because now every time I lift up, I'm still in the same position. I just set my thumb back down, set the edge on the stone, my thumb on the stone, and that's the angle. It's very easy. It makes it super easy to hold your angle. I don't recommend doing this forever, but it's a great way to learn how to cut in a flat bevel. When I learned that trick, I went from making like super convex edges to cutting in a perfect V grind, like instantly. What's up, my beautiful little stormtroopers? We did not hear that. She said it's the only escort that your wife won't get mad about. Which is your favorite sharpen, convex blade or V blade? I like both. So the way I do my convex is I do it like this. You can either do it with this type of stone, or you can go like this. Oh, I want to show you guys another tool in a second. So you can just go like this or like this, doesn't matter. And I take and I hold the angle as perfect as possible. I don't try to convex. The point of doing this to get a convex edge is to not try to get a convex edge. It's going to naturally happen. Hold the stone, hold the knife, lay it down, and as I sharpen and do the exact same motions I do down here with my elbow, lock my wrist, use my elbow, but now I have this and I push this back and forth. So I literally just move both. Sometimes I literally won't even move this hand. I'll just lay it right here and I'll just drag the stone. But the movement between my arm and my plate creates a convex just naturally. Don't try to, though. Do your best to hold that angle perfectly. Feel like you're trying to cut in a V grind, but you're just not going to be able to because they're both moving. So my favorite is a V grind. No, sorry. My favorite is a semi-convex. So there's a V grind. There's a convex. A semi-convex is where it's like stretched out. So it's not quite convex. For people that don't know, like a convex edge is going to be a tougher edge. So that's the difference. A V grind is super sharp. A convex edge is tough. Right? V grind, convex, and then a semi-convex is like a mixture. But it allows it to be super sharp while also holding on to toughness. What makes the one sharper than the other? It's the apex. So look at right here on all of these. Think about moving down just a little tiny bit. If you move down the same distance, you'll see this is thinner right behind the apex. This is thicker. So that's going to automatically make this sharper. It's going to make it cut better. It's going to make it pass your materials better. It's also going to be easier to maintain. Because the thinner it is, the less material you have to remove in order to affect it. This is a cool little tool to have. It has a strop, a ceramic honing rod, a ceramic rod for serrations. You can also spin the ceramic rod to have it more aggressive or less aggressive. Then it has 2 diamond plates. And these diamond plates are replaceable. You can literally buy more. And it also has the angle. So you can literally have your angle. Look at this. The angle's right there. I just have to maintain it. Just the same thing we were doing with this thing. That's built into this system. This, you can absolutely reprofile. You can absolutely sharpen on this. I would recommend buying it for a maintenance tool, meaning like if you're in the field and you need to sharpen, obviously you can resharpen. But what you can use it for, the best way is to maintain your edges. So say you've already sharpened your edge. Now when it's starting to get dull, you can use the ceramic rod like we did right in the beginning, or you can just tune it up really quick on the diamonds, adding a new scratch pattern and so on. Usually when you sharpen, you want to just fully resharpen. You want to cut in a whole nother bevel. But if you know what you're doing and you understand the scratch pattern, you can take an edge bevel that already exists and just create a new scratch pattern, which is just the grit. Like I said, there's the difference between your edge angle and the teeth that are at the edge. The teeth are what makes it stay in a cut. So if I didn't have teeth, let's say it only was sharp, right? Say it's only sharp. Well, now when I go to cut something, I'm going to slip out of the cut. Nothing's going to keep me inside that cut. That's a dangerous edge. If you guys ever tried to cut a rope and your edge just keeps slipping off of it, or like a thick plastic strap, it just keeps slipping, it's because your edge doesn't have any bite. What should happen is it should instantly bite into it, like little serrations and basically like little teeth bite into it and prevent you from slipping out, which makes the knife cut better. It makes it stay into that cut so you can repeat cuts. Okay, so Let me see the comments. Okay, I think I understand now. Stay even, easily take off the burr, stay straight, lift elbow. So yes, you want to lock your wrist, you know, once you find your angle, you know, lock your wrist and just use your elbow to get the blade shape. So the angle is what you're trying to hold. You want to maintain that same angle so you don't go like this. You don't want to, what you don't want to do is you don't want to go across and drop your angle, and you don't want to go across and lift your angle. You want to lock it in, go across the same exact angle, and then to get to the tip, just lift your elbow. Once you cut in the bevel, you're going to watch the scratch pattern and you're going to look at it with your eyes. You're going to look at it and see that there's little tiny, you know what? Maybe I do have the microscope right here, since I have shit in the way. I could show you guys. So I do regular lives, the sideways lives. Today's Wednesday, so I have a live at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And I do lots of giveaways, guys. So if you guys ever want to win knives and stuff like that, you can join the membership. We do 2 giveaways a month. Just a few days ago, we gave away over $500 in knives. Just one knife was a $300 knife. And we do that twice a month. Twice a month for the members. Now, my regular lives are Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Anybody can join. We do that in the studio, though, where we talk just knives. You know, we talk about different knives, different deals. We talk sharpening, too. But I want to start doing more of these to help people learn how to sharpen. I do have an entire playlist teaching knife sharpening that you can always refer to if you're not understanding or if you want better visuals. Because obviously, if I record the video, I can edit and break things down to where it's better to understand and you can see it on a microscopic level. Like I use the microscope in the videos and stuff. So it makes it a little bit better. What store do you advise to use? Depends on what you want. If you want sharpening supplies, either the HAPSTONE link down there in the description, HAPSTONE, it is in the UK, so it does take about a week to receive the stuff. As far as other sharpening stuff, the Neeves Knives store and sharpening supplies, tons of sharpening supplies in there. I have recommended stuff, different diamond plates. The diamond plates I recommend are in there, and tons of other stuff. Strops. Now, if you're wanting some stroppy stuff, the best stropping compound you can buy, this is a diamond emulsion. Go to the NEEVEKNIVECO. It's the first link in the description. That's my little store where I have knife designs coming. I do sell other companies' knife designs that I like. I don't put anything on there I don't like, though, so that's the thing. So I don't have a ton on there. And it's not that everything on there is the only things I love. There's a lot of things I love. I just can't get on there. So I put things on there that I can, that I really love. And then, like the stroppy stuff, I have that on there. It's my favorite emulsion, but I have my own designs coming. So I'll have my own designs here very soon. If you raise or lower angle halfway through, how do you fix? So yeah, you just have to restart. That's the problem. So here's the thing. If your angle is low, by doing a higher angle, it's going to go faster. Okay. So the lower the angle, the longer it'll take, the higher the angle, the faster. So if you started out at say 15 degrees per side, and say your bevel's too big and you're like, this is going to take forever, right? You can raise your angle there. However, what's going to happen though is you will have the top part of your bevel will look a little different, because so basically it'll look like this. Well, what's all happened? You will have on the top of your scratch pattern, so this would be your new edge angle, say the higher one. Up here will be where you had the lower one, because the lower the angle, the bigger the bevel. So you're going to have scratches up here that aren't going to go away, unless if you sharpen for a very long time. You can get them to go away, but you're going to spend a lot more time on the stone. Now, if you started off with a high angle, there's no problem with lowering it back down, because once you lower it, you're going lower. So your angle's like this, you're lowering it. So it's just going to take longer. It's going to take longer because you're removing more steel. So you can always adjust, but try to once you start, whatever angle you start with, try to maintain it. Try to stay with that angle. I'm not saying like if you really messed up and you're like, this angle ain't gonna work, of course change it. But do your best to, once you set that edge down, whatever angle you choose, stick with it, because that's what's most important, is you create, because if you keep changing angles, what happens is your bevel's not like this anymore. Now your bevel's like that, which defeats the purpose. You need that fucker to be like that. What's up, Kyle? Do you offer and recommend kangaroo straps? It depends. I do. I like them. I do have some. Their kangaroo leather is like the toughest leather on the planet. But the point of the leather is to hold the abrasive. Yes, there is a level of which, like, this is shit and this is the best, and then there's just good, right? Like, this would be the best in my opinion. This is the best. This is from Stroppy stuff, but I can't recommend it. It's too damn expensive. I don't recommend it at all. Don't buy it because it's just too fucking expensive. But there's quality leather straps that you can get very affordably. Like these are like 20 bucks. It's a double-sided strap, paddle strap. This will work just fine. So I just recommend just getting something decent. Don't go with absolute garbage. Don't go with something crazy. Kangaroo leather, the problem with it is it's very expensive. It's very thin. So like say with this stuff, look at how thick this is. Kangaroo leather is like a quarter of this, maybe even thinner than that. It's very thin. So yes, it works well. Yes, it's just fine. But you're paying a little bit more money for something you're not going to get much in return on. So I'd say just go with a regular cow leather. A cow leather is going to be just fine. The most important part is the abrasive you're using. Yes, the leather matters a little bit, but that's just holding the abrasive. So think about it like sandpaper, right? There's the paper and then there's the sand on top of the paper. The paper's not the big deal. It's the sand that's on the paper. The paper's just holding the sand. Same kind of concept. Each one of these, this is just microscopic diamonds on here. So I do. Got my Stroppy stuff, diamond emulsion. This is 6 micron. Bam. And then what I might do is I might rub it around a little bit just to make sure I get the corners. And then I'll let it sit. Now what I can't, and for like 30 seconds, that stuff dries really fast. But it's the best. It's the best because the concentration. So like, don't think you're going to go on Amazon and just buy a good stropping compound. You can get the green chalky stuff. It looks like a green crayon and you can rub it on a strap. That stuff works. It's like 1 to 3 micron. The problem with it is it breaks down too fast and it's not super effective. Diamonds are very effective. They last a lot longer. They're easier to apply. There's just everything is better about them. They're more expensive though. So if you're on a super tight budget, get the crayon stuff, get the aluminum oxide stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just once you go to a good stropping compound, you never go back to the cheap stuff because it's so much more effective. Kizer knives are some of the worst for sharpening because the blades are twisted or uneven. And that's why they put, I don't agree with that. I've sharpened hundreds of Kizer knives. Every single company is not going to have perfect grinds and perfect edge bevels. It's your choice to put in a new bevel. I can tell you $1,000 knives right now that are way more of a nightmare to sharpen than any fucking Kizer. So it's about the grinds, how even they are. And Kizer does not do a bad job at all. I'm sharpening one right now, and my bevel looks great. Now, am I saying they're always going to be perfect? No, but that's no company. I cannot name you one company right now that's going to give you 100% asymmetrical grinds that are perfect and they have a perfect edge bevel. None. The only one I can think of maybe is like Rockstead, and that's because it's a 0 grind. It doesn't even have an edge bevel. The whole knife is the bevel. But I can understand your frustration because I have seen, I know because like a lot of Kizers, right? Like the drop bear right here, drop bear. This is a Kizer. The grind right here is sometimes a little wonky, and that's because it gets so thin right there because of the plunge grind. But you want that plunge grind there, so it's a little bit of a sacrifice where maybe the first sharpening it'll look good all the way through the whole bevel, but maybe just right there it'll look a little bit weird. Get it on the next sharpening. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up over it. But because, you know, they're still, it's still being ground, right? It's still being, you know, shaped and then ground to a certain thickness. There's different thicknesses. Like right now, this is thicker than this right here. So when I sharpen it, the bevel is going to be a little bigger here than right here because it's just the thickness difference. If you hold the same angle and there's two different thicknesses, you're going to see a difference in size. Can you explain how you sharpen your knife step by step, please? Love your videos. I actually just did through this whole video, so you can just rewind it. And I also have a step by step sharpening video. I have tons of them. But basically, to break it down really quickly, you get your angle, find your angle, hold your angle, lock your wrist. As you go across the stone, use your elbow to do the blade shape. So there's two different things. You have your edge angle, then you have your blade shape. All right. You want to find your angle, whatever angle you're going to sharpen at, whether you want to do the same angle that's on the knife or if you want to do a different one, you want to lower the angle, whatever, that's fine. But whatever you choose, lock it in. And now in order to get to the tip, I'm just going to lift my elbow. Well, I'm using diamonds. There's no STPROF. That's why I'm telling them, get diamonds. Get a 300 grit and a 600 grit ultra sharp, or DMT. If you want USA made, get DMT. If you don't care about that, get ultra sharp. What? I've already done that, yeah. 300 grit and 600 grit is what you need, because if you can't get a good edge on a 600 grit, then you cannot get an edge on a 1200 grit. Nothing matters after the first and second stone. The first stone is the most important. That's where you set your bevel. The second stone is where you're going to refine your teeth. So I'm going to cut in my bevel with this stone, and then the next stone, I'm going to refine the serrations. It's kind of like taking a saw blade that has really big teeth and making them smaller and tighter together, which, depending on what you're doing with the knife, is going to depend on which one works better for you. But right there, man, that is a damn good looking bevel, man. I wish you guys could see that perfectly. Let me see if I can get this on camera, because I want to show you guys. Let's see. Look at that scratch pattern. See how it goes from the top of the bevel? Hopefully you guys can see that. Down to the apex. It looks beautiful. And each one of those little scratches from the diamonds are making a little microscopic serration. So now I have my burr. So I sharpen this side, doing what I said, lock my wrist, use my elbow, and cut it in until the scratches go from the top of the bevel down to the apex. Like we were showing before, from the top of the bevel down to the apex. Remember, it's like a little saw blade. That's what you guys were just looking at, was this on my edge bevel. So each scratch, you want to go from the top down to the apex, to the part that cuts you. Once you've reached the apex, you want to feel for your burr. If you don't feel a burr yet, get back on the stone until you do, because eventually you will. And you can distinguish it by rubbing this side first and feeling there's no burr, and then rubbing the side that does have the burr. And you'll notice that this side is snagging you. It's grippy. So now I switch to the other side. I want to flip my burr over. This is more of a pro tip, but I still want to make sure I say it because your results will be so much better if you treat your burr the entire way through. Meaning, I developed my burr on this side just now. I want to flip it back over to this side. Very gentle, no pressure at all. And the reason why is because I want to fatigue it here in a little bit and knock it off. But I need it to flip back and forth in order to do that. So it just makes it break off easier. Baby, can you grab my water in the studio? So when I do that, I'm just doing a strop basically on the stone. Very gentle, no pressure at all. And then find my angle and start sharpening again and do the same process. I want to cut in the new bevel where the scratch pattern is going from the top of the bevel down to the apex. So that's when you know you've set your bevel. Because as you're setting your bevel, like this is what you're looking for, right? But at first it's going to be like this. So you're cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting until you reach the apex. And once you reach the apex, that's when you feel for the burr. So I've cut in this side. Now this side is like this. So I need to cut it in. That's what I'm doing right now. But I have to make sure it goes from the top of the bevel to the apex, right? So it's like, it's going to be like this. This side's done. This side's not. So it's like this. So I need to cut this side in until it matches the other side. And has the scratch pattern I want. Now, that's why it's important to not use stupid things to sharpen your knife. Pull through sharpeners, metal rods. That's all garbage. Throw that shit away. It's not working. It's just because something can make your edge sharper for a moment and you'll be like, oh my goodness, it's sharper. So what? It's just going to go dull the second you use it. That's not a proper bevel. You want an edge that's going to last, and then you want an edge that's easy to maintain. And an edge that's easy to maintain. Think about this. If I use a pull through and it cuts 10 cuts, right? Versus a proper edge that cuts 1,000 cuts. And if I maintain it and strop it, it'll cut 5,000. Which one should you use, right? That's just common sense there. But that's what the people are selling you snake oil, basically. They're telling you that this is a sharpener when it's not actually doing what real sharpening is doing. To do a real sharpening, you're cutting in a new bevel and you're creating microscopic teeth that run the same direction, either whether it's straight up and down or at an angle. You're still creating those little scratches. If you're not doing that, then you're not making a proper bevel. You might make the edge sharper to some extent, but it's just going to go dull instantly. It's just going to slip out of cuts. It's going to get slippery. It's not going to be able to maintain. And then the more you do it, like I did a video on this. You guys should go watch my pull through sharpener video on why you shouldn't use them. I show you on a microscopic level what those things do to your edge. And basically, every time you use it, your edge lasts less long. So like say the first time you use it, it might get 20 cuts. Second time you use it, it'll take 10 cuts. Third time you use it, it'll make 5 cuts. Because it's just making your edge more obtuse. And then eventually it makes it to where it's not even going to work anymore. So by cutting in a proper bevel, you can reassure that now you can maintain it, you can strop it, you can hone it, you can keep it going for a very long time, as long as you're not cutting stupid shit. Look at that bevel. Man, that looks damn good. Making sure it matches. See the scratches? And they're reaching the apex. I can feel it. All the way down. Now, I go to my finishing stone. This is 154 cm, by the way. 154 cm steel. You want to do a medium grit edge. Why? Because it's a super fine grained steel. So what happens with it is, if I take it up to 3,000 grit, the teeth at the apex will basically just wear off very fast. So then it'll leave me with a slick edge, which is a dangerous edge. That's not what you want. So in order to keep the two things you want in your edge, the sharpness and the bite, you want to go with a medium grit edge for 154 cm. I like between 600 and 800 grit. I think that's the best. I'm going to finish right here on a 600 grit and watch how sharp it is. It's a very sharp edge. Don't ever be tricked into thinking that the finer you go, 10,000 grit, 20,000 grit, 100,000 grit makes your shit any sharper. It does not. Your edge angle is what makes the sharpness. That's going to be from the first stone. Your first stone grades the sharpness. The next ones is just the teeth. So say if you go with a 20,000 grit stone, the difference is just the teeth. So it has smaller teeth. And you can consider it finer. But when you're saying finer, people think finer means sharper. Finer doesn't mean sharper. It means the teeth are tighter together. They're finer. So they're smaller. So just don't be tricked into thinking that. Now, does that mean you shouldn't do a mirror polished edge? Absolutely not. I love mirror polished edges. Should I got one on my knife right now in my pocket? That's a mirror fucking polished edge. Beautiful too. Damn good mirror polished edge. But I do it on a steel that accepts it. Because there's steels that do good with it. There's steels that do bad with it. You want to pick a steel that likes a mirror polish. And that holds a mirror polish. And that can maintain a mirror polish. Any edge will take a mirror polish, meaning like you can see it's a mirror polish, but what I'm talking about is whether or not it'll have teeth that work and that'll hold. Okay, what am I doing? All right, we have the burr. We're gonna flip the burr back over. Very gentle, no pressure. A little more. There we go. We flipped it over. Now it's back on this side. So now sharpen this side, then we do the other side, and we're done with this knife. The reason why I don't knock my burr off just pushing forward, like you're thinking like you're already going to drag it across the stone. Why not just do that? Why strip the burr over? Well, because if I just go forward like that, what'll happen is it'll just tear it off. And when it tears it off, it can create micro tear out. Will it happen every time? No, but it can. So in order to create the best chances of having an incredibly sharp edge that's at the highest level, you want to fatigue the burr throughout your sharpening by letting it flip back and forth before you tear it off, and then at the end either diminish it or you know, or let it pop off, but you're not just ripping it off, because that can take steel with it, which might or might not affect you. But I've just, you know, I get much better results when I do it like this. Man, that scratch pattern looks damn good. Look at that. Look at that scratch pattern. You guys see that? I hope you guys can see that. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so now burr's on this side. Now I'm flipping it over. Remember, the first stone is what takes the longest. Second stone and any other stones after that, you know, depending on where you want to go, those don't take long because you've already set your bevel. The sharpness is already there. Like I said, you're just changing the scratches. You're changing the teeth. So it doesn't take anything to go from a 300 to a 600 grit. Now, if I went 300 to 1,000 grit, yeah, it's not going to work, because the 1,000 grit isn't aggressive enough to do anything to the scratches from a 300 grit. Now, you could spend a long time on it, and yeah, eventually it will work, but it's just a nightmare. All right, can you explain how you sharpen? I already read that one. Am I not caught up? All right, so now I'm going to do this side, and then we're going to develop the final burr. So we've already developed we have one last burr to develop. So we flipped it over this way. We just knocked it over to this side. So now that the burr is sitting over this way, we're going to create the scratch pattern right now, which is refining our edge, because remember, this is the stone we're going to finish on. So we want our scratch pattern very well done, nice and consistent from the top of the bevel down to the apex, which is just the edge bevel. You just want to make sure the scratches cover the edge bevel. You just want to make sure they're consistent. Like, I don't want to go this way and then this way and then this way. I want to make sure they're consistent. They run the same direction. We're already done. Like that right there, bam. Nice burr. And now I'm going to remove the burr. This time, though, I'm going to remove it on a different stone because I want to. This is a resin bonded diamond. It's still a diamond, but it's super fine. So this is like a 3,500 grit. I like to remove my burr. Like even this is like 2,500 to 5,000 grit too, the ceramic rod. And I could use a ceramic plate if I wanted to. But because my ceramic plate's over there, this is very similar to a ceramic plate. So now I'm going to remove the burr. No pressure. I can use 2 fingers. I'm literally just trying to get the apex to just drag across the stone so that the burr that's hooked over the edge hits the stone and snags like that. So we want it to flip back and forth until it snaps off and reveals a clean apex. This is the magic on how to create a very sharp edge. Look at that. Very gentle. I'm not putting any pressure because my goal is not to change my scratch pattern or to affect my bevel. The only goal I have right now is to fatigue that little metal wire that's very delicate. It's already gone. One more pass. A couple more. It's damn near gone. Now, then, after I do a bunch of edge trailing passes, edge trailing means tip to heel, right? I was doing tip to heel. Now I'm going to do a couple forward passes, edge leading passes. This is just terminology for sharpening. So now, just a couple, very gentle, same pressure, no pressure at all, just enough to maintain the angle so that the apex hits the stone. And now I'm ready to strop. Clean it off first. We'll grab 6 micron. 6 micron, remember we just put this stuff on there, the 6 micron stroppy stuff. Diamond emulsion. We're ready to go. Oh yeah, feels good. And now what the strop is doing is any remaining burr that I might not have got that might be still hanging on to the apex, this is going to remove it. And the little microscopic teeth that I made with my 600 grit stone is getting refined just a little bit. So like say if there's any straggler teeth, like one tooth is bigger than another tooth, you know, like where one's more jagged and one's a little bit smaller, it's going to help refine them to make them nice and even. And you know, they're already consistent. So it's just basically refining it just a little tiny bit. Now, if you do a stropping progression where you have like 5 different strops with all different types of microns, you can bring it to like a mirror polish if you come off of that is damn sharp. Yeah, that's fucking sharp, boy. Watch this. Woo, that is sharp. Thing's a ghost. Watch it. Look at that. Look at that S cut. Look at them S cuts. That was my fault. Let's do the hard part, right? Paper's easy, right? Paper's easy to cut. But can it cut a paper towel, which is the best indicator of a perfect edge bevel, or sorry, perfect edge, because what it does is your edge has to be very sharp to cut paper towel. But more importantly, it has to have the perfect amount of bite. And we were talking about before, there's sharpness, and then there's the bite, which is the teeth at the edge. In order to cut paper towel, your teeth can't be too big. If they're too big, it'll snag the fibers in the paper towel and it won't cut cleanly. It'll just tear it. If it's too fine and the teeth aren't good enough or consistent enough, it'll just slip off of it. So it has to be perfect. And we have, my phone. And it's hard to do it without pulling the paper towel roll over, so it has to be very sharp. Look at that. We got a little bit of toothiness. I did notice that, but it's very, very clean. Look at that. That's very, very good. I could refine it just a little tiny bit more and probably make it cut just a little bit cleaner, as I did notice a couple big teeth. But yeah, paper towel, that's the trick. Yeah, look at that. My butt hits that one, that's why I can't go all the way through. But very, 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 very sharp. Oh, that time it snagged. But yeah, extremely sharp. Like I said, in order to even cut paper towel at 1 inch, it has to be extremely sharp. So to run it all the way through like that, this chef knives get the sharpest, but we were messing around with it afterwards, so it's still sharp. So I'll use these paper towels. Don't worry, guys. I know you guys are like, stop wasting paper towels. I use them to clean my stones. So, diamond plates. You need a 300 grit, a 600 grit, and a stone holder. This is what you need. If you want to sharpen your edges, you can do it very affordably. However, I'm going to show you another system where you can get everything all in one very cheap. Somebody look up the bench stone, Work Sharp bench stone. Tell me the price of it really quick. I think it's like 50 bucks or something. I might be wrong. So now let me show you this system. It's very easy. Get rid of this because we don't need it anymore. We have one in this box. Here's our holder. Here's our stone package. So we have a tri-stone. So we have a coarse diamond, a medium grit. So this is the 325. Like I said, 300 and a 600 grit is what you're going to want. And this is the best case for beginners and even pros, right? I'm a pro and I'm sitting here doing a 600 grit edge. You can worry about polished edges and all that shit later because it won't matter. Now you also have edge angles. Yes, arguably the edge angles are not going to be the lowest. You have a 20 degree and a 25. So what you do is you can take this off and flip it just like that. Pop it off. So we have a 25 or a 20 degree edge bevel. Now I'm going to put the 20 on there, and then what you do is you take this and you drop this down on there, and you have a little button on this side. All that does is it either one, locks it in so the stone doesn't rock, or two, you click it and now it'll rock. Why do you care about rocking? Because when you're dragging your edge across the stone, I'll just resharpen this. This is need a new edge. Oh, that's a beautiful edge. I can't do that to that one. Fuck it. I just tested this one. So Civivi Cubit. Like I said, Civivi's great knives to learn how to sharpen on. So since it tilts like this, what that's going to do is as I'm coming across the stone, all I have to do is push it and it will basically do the blade shape. That's basically what it's for. I recommend locking it, but watch this. As I'm coming across the stone, it's very easy to get to the tip because it tilts. So I just have to kind of just drag straight. That's basically what it's doing. I don't have to do the elbow trick. I just drag straight across and it follows. Just don't let your edge go like that. Now, I prefer just to lock it, and then it's nice and solid. So now I have to lift my elbow to get to the tip. This is a good system. It's not going to be as secure as one of these with a diamond plate because there is a little bit of flex and stuff like that. But you're getting a whole system. And check this out. 320 grit, 600 grit, which would be my finishing stone. And then check this out. You get a ceramic plate. The only thing you're missing here is a strop. Buy a strop. 20 bucks. You know, you can get one of these cheap ones like this. Just make sure you get a good compound. But right here, literally, this will be good for burr removal, edge maintenance. You can micro bevel with it. Like say, if I take a knife right now that's not even sharp, I can literally hone on this right now and make it sharper, or add a micro bevel and make it, you know, sharp for as long as, you know, until I can resharpen it basically. But look at that, see? Nice ceramic plate. Now I do prefer personally to put a lubricant on ceramic plates. I like soapy water, just dish soap and water. You know, you don't have to spend money really, just dish soap and water. I mean, maybe a little bit of money because dish soap does cost, but you can just use water. But dish soap, the oils in the soap lift the particles up. Water, it more doesn't do that. So don't make him feel special. Kizer knives or something. I mean, am I like, oh shit, there we go. You get upgraded plates and replacements. Yeah, you can replace these. They do pop off. So if they wear out, you can buy new plates for this. Same thing with this thing. Same concept, like these pop off. You can get new plates. So you can literally use this as the angle guide, just like how we were using this one on this stone, right? Same concept. You have your edge angle. So now drag it down, hit the pay attention to the heel of the blade first. So we want to use this as the angle guide. Go down. We hit the edge now. I want to hold that angle. So hold that by locking my wrist and then lifting my elbow to get to the tip. Start over, drag, hit, lock my wrist, drag over until I get to the tip, and lift my elbow to get to the tip. Now you can, if you want to learn how to maintain an angle, you can do back and forth motions. And basically all I'm doing is just leaning in, lift elbow, leaning back, leaning in, lift elbow, drop elbow, lift, drop, just like that. And see, this is a high edge angle compared to what I had. I had a 17 degree edge bevel on this. So throwing a 20 degree is making a micro bevel. So right now I have a micro bevel. I've already created a burr. And the reason why it was so fast is because I had a low edge angle on there and I just threw a high edge angle on it. So it's basically like a high edge angle on top of a fine edge. So think about it like this. Basically what I did was I had a nice low angle. And I just came in and put a high angle on there, right on the tip. So now it's basically like this. So take all this off. My edge is now like that. So yes, it's sharp. Is it as good as if I just sharpen the entire bevel back to 17? Of course not. Like that's way sharper. But this will make it to where, like I said, that you can use it as a maintenance tool. You can do that over and over if you want to. Leo, hey man, get her done. Thank you for the 2 bones, man. I appreciate it. I always appreciate the donies. We definitely need those. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it, man. But again, very easy. I already see how fast that goes because 2 things are happening on why that just went so fast. Actually, 3. 1, 320 grit, nice aggressive stone. It's a coarse stone. I recommend between 100 and 300 grit for your first stone. This is a 320, so it's basically 300 grit. Don't get too crazy on the number as long as it's close to that. It's an aggressive stone. This is very thin. Very thin, cuts fast. So if this was thick, it would take probably 10 times longer, right? Next thing is my edge angle's high. So if I'm holding my edge angle really low, it's going to take forever. If I hold it high, it's going to go fast. And basically, I'm holding a high angle with a thin edge with an abrasive stone. It's going to go fast. So if you've ever tried to sharpen, you're like, man, this is taking fucking too long. You have one of those issues. Hey, Q-Ball's been a member for 24 months. He's a damn rockstead. You see that? He's a premium member. Shout out to Q-Ball, man. Awesome dude. He's not only a friend of the channel, but he's a personal friend. It's about time I take advantage of your sharpening guru knowledge. 2 years. How time flies. Damn right. Damn right. I appreciate you, bud. Thank you. Hope all is well with you and your family. What is happening to me? I have that sharpener, and when I sharpen the tip, it gets rounded and not pointy. Okay, we're going to address that right now. You're saying you have this sharpener, right? So if you have this sharpener, focus on locking, or first lock this. So if you go like this, that might be the reason why you're getting that. Lock it. Lock it and make yourself do it. And as you come across the stone, lift your elbow, and as you get to the tip, once you can kind of see the tip hit, stop. You're there. You don't have to go any higher. The reason why you're rolling is because either 1, this thing is going like this and gouging it, or 2, you're going too high. So you're going like this and then going like that. Don't do that. Literally, once the tip hits, that's hit. That's it. So you don't have to go up too high. It's very little. And if the scratch head isn't quite hitting the tip, just keep doing it, because most likely it is going to hit. It's just, it needs to cut the steel in order to finish it. How does somebody tell how long they have been a member? It says on the thing when, ask Q-Ball. He just did one. It says, I think you have like a free lit up thing once every live or something like that. I'm not honestly 100%, but it's something like that. Also, you get different things. So like the stickers next to your name change colors, stuff like that. I think I'm going to high subscribe. Thank you. All right, Harry. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate the subscription. Yeah, you definitely, it's probably what you're doing. You're probably just lifting too high, or if you have this and it's tilting, once you get, one thing I can say to do is when you're going across the stone, see how I'm all the way, try not to let the tip go all the way to the edge right here if you have it unlocked, right? If you have it locked, it doesn't matter. But if you have it unlocked, because when it tilts, your thing's going to be both. See right there. It's too much. So as it's coming across, try to keep the tip in the center of the stone. So when it tilts, it's not rounding it. So if you're locking it, then just make sure you don't lift too much. Keep it nice and low. You can feel it too if you want. Take your finger, touch the tip, and then go across and let yourself feel it hit. I do that quite often. Hey, Bones is in here. Thank you for the 2 bones. Bones, 2 days in a row. Just bought that sharpener and love it. Hell yeah. Dennis, what's up, brother? He's been a member for 18 months with the Benchmades. 18, this account Benchmade, because I'm poor. I'll be back. I appreciate it, Dennis. Dennis is obviously a long-time member, but awesome supporter. Same thing with Bones. Bones has been a great friend of the channel as well. I appreciate all you guys. I do have a badass video coming together right now of the top 5 best knife sharpeners you can buy as far as fixed angle knife sharpeners go. You know, like fixed angled knife sharpeners, you know, so where you don't have to do it freehand. So I have those coming right now. So that's very soon. I will do probably another one with like the top 5 best freehand knife sharpeners because those are fixed angled. This would be one of the freehand sharpeners, so just so you know. Because you're still doing it freehand, but it's helping you a little bit. Look how fast that is, like right there. So now, right now, I just need to go to my 600. I didn't even have to do that back again. I just did it because I was scraping the edge across the stone. So now I should have flipped my burr. I didn't do that, but I'll make sure I develop a whole new one. There we go. Okay, so my scratch pattern looks good, but like I said before, I have 2 different bevels now because I have my original bevel, and unless if I stay on the stone for a very long time, it's going to be difficult. Like I was saying, I'm creating a micro bevel, so in order for this to be the whole bevel, I would have to remove all of this steel, right? So otherwise, I have this angle and then a micro angle at the tip, and that's what I see here, which is fine. I'm not that worried about it, but it does show you how fast you can sharpen an edge. Let's flip the burr. You can sharpen an edge very fast with a high edge angle. That's the trick. Like if you want to say like, I want to sharpen my edge in 5 minutes or less, it's all about the edge angle. Well, and the thickness. Like if you want to sharpen a fast edge, make sure it's not a thick knife because that, no matter what, is not going to go fast. Ooh, popped off my edge angle. That can happen. Now, like I said, you could go with even better and get 2 diamond plates and an angle finder. And that is what I mostly recommend, even more so than this. The beautiful thing with this is you do get the ceramic, which is nice, which we already have our burr. So now all we need to do is remove our burr. We got our last one, which is on this side. So I'm just going to do a couple gentle passes to strip the burr off, or not strip it off, sorry, fatigue it off. I want to gently remove it. Usually I add a little bit of lubricant to it. I don't have to, but it's nice. A couple forward passes. Remember, this is just a micro bevel, so this is not the most professional edge right now. But what did this take? If I wasn't talking, that did come out sharp though. How long did that take? You know, if I wasn't talking, wasn't bullshitting, 3 minutes? Maybe 3 minutes? Oh, that was my fault. Let's see. Do we have it? Feels just a little toothy. Oh, that's definitely my fault right there. What am I doing? I know I need a strop still, so that might be it. Yeah, there it goes. It's got a lot of tooth to it, but it just needs a little stropping. So now, and also, like I said, this is a high edge angle, so this isn't going to be the most appropriate edge bevel or the best edge bevel, but it's a quick one. I can quickly do it. I quickly have my knife sharp. Like say this was your kitchen knife, right? Say you got to cook dinner and you got some vegetables you want to cut up and your edge is just shit. So now you can't cut your little thin little slices of whatever you're cooking. And you need that. You need that for the presentation, for the taste, for the flavor. There we go. Well, now you can rapidly, right? Rapidly sharpen it really quick at a high edge angle, and then later on you can lower it back down if you want. Remember, this is a high edge angle, so this isn't a super sharp edge. Remember, high edge angles are tougher, but not as sharp. Low edge angles, like the ones we did earlier, are sharper. Where'd it go? Sharper. Right? This one's not as sharp as that. It's toothier. But it's just a higher angle. So hopefully that all makes sense. But yeah, I highly recommend Work Sharp stuff if you want to get like just like the rod we were using earlier. This is Work Sharp. 3 things, and I'm not sponsored by Work Sharp or anything. I have affiliate links, but they don't sponsor anything. Some people don't understand the difference between an affiliate and a sponsor. The difference is just I get to choose if I want to recommend it or not. I can recommend anything I want. I can also not recommend it. So if I want to, I can link it, and then I'll get a little small kickback if you do buy it through my link. But they're not paying me to say anything. They don't tell me to say anything. You know, it's just if I want to. The beautiful thing with having it that way is, say if I have a system and it's shit, I can say, don't buy this, buy this, right? It makes it easier, to be honest. So anyways, Work Sharp stuff's really good. I don't recommend everything they have, but this is really good. This is the bench stone. This is the field sharpener, and this is just a ceramic rod. You can find all this stuff in the Neeves Knives store down in the description. Adventure Man, 2 Bones, he just won a giveaway. Adventure Man just won a giveaway on the members. So like I said, if you guys want to win shit, we do 2 giveaways a month, and we give away a lot of money in knives. I think you guys would be surprised, because I think people think like, well, I only, you know, I don't know, like let's say you do $10 a month, right? But the wins are basically like $1,000 in shit a month. It almost doesn't make sense, but I get to give away a lot of stuff the company sends, so it makes it easy to do that. And in fact, we have a massive giveaway coming up. We have an entire knife chest full of brand new knives, over 20 knives, plus the knife chest. So an entire knife collection is going to be given to one of you guys. All you gotta be subscribed, watch the channel. It'll probably be within the next week or 2. I'm really excited about that. And anybody can join that. You don't have to be a member. That's for everybody. I'm waiting right now for the box, and then we're negotiating right now for which knives we're going to do. That's going to be a badass giveaway. I don't know how much money in knives it's going to be, but this is thousands of dollars for sure. It's going to one person. So one person's literally going to get an entire knife collection of Civivis and Sencuts, and then also a couple $100 box. Jared, did you get computer fixed tonight? We're working on it right now. I'm trying to. We're getting some headway, but it's not perfect yet. No, I'm still working on it. If you guys don't know, I got a hacker going on right now. They're fucking with my shit. So there's something, you know, when you do work on the internet like this, there's something you deal with. Everybody's got to deal with this, I guess, but it's a little bit more scary for me because they can take over my channel. They can, you know, do all kinds of stuff. And right now they've been trying to delete everything, all my histories and stuff. Well, whatever. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm winning that one. Everyone give a, nobody enter. Chris Jones is getting that one. I think French fries and popcorn are vegetables. Well, I don't know about that. Well, corn. Come on, bud. They are vegetables, technically. I guess that's a loophole. I want a premium Sativian in titanium and carbon fiber. It is awesome. Yeah, that's a good knife. I forget how much money that knife is, but I believe it was like 140 or 160, I believe. I believe that's how much money that knife was that we gave to Adventure Man. Not 100%, I don't remember, but I think that's about what it was. Sativian's more of a budget brand, but they have some premium knives. Like the one he got was a premium knife. Yeah, Q-Ball, it's not me giving it away. Actually, it's the company that makes the box reached out to we, so it's we, the company, and then me, I guess. But it's mostly them. Like I'm just promoting it and giving it to you guys. So it's a badass giveaway. Koos says, what is the best budget stone for chef knives? Okay, the best, if you want the best for just chef knives, nothing else, right? Because if you're asking for knives, I'm going to tell you 2 diamond plates, ultra sharp or DMT. The best of the best of the best is going to be a resin bonded diamond stone, like these. This is diamond, but it's in a resin. This is diamond, it's in a resin. But if you're just talking about chef knives, if you're on a budget, go with King Waterstone. That's the one time when I would recommend a Waterstone. It's a Japanese Waterstone, King Waterstones. They're really good for chef knives. That's basically what they're for. I wouldn't use them for anything else, but if it's just chef knives. But technically, man, I'm telling you, man, just 2 diamond plates, a 300 and a 600 grit. You got everything you need right there. And then if you want to, later on, you can get a 1200 grit. And then later on, you can get a 2000 grit. And you can keep on going. But you just need to start off with the foundation, which gets you see how sharp these edges are. It's only 2 stones. But you have to get good at that. But yeah, I would say for just chef knives, the best is probably going to be a Japanese water stone. But that doesn't mean it's the best for all chef knives, just for the majority. Like say if you said, I have a chef knife in MagnaCut, I would say, well, don't use water stones, use diamonds, because the carbides and the steel just, you want a stone that is appropriate for the steel. And that's why I always recommend diamonds, because it's good for all steels. There's no steel that doesn't do good with diamonds. But for water stones, wet stones, aluminum oxide, silicon carbide stones, all those stones, they only work on mid-grade and below steels. They're not going to work on the high performance S110V, Rex 45, Rex 121, MagnaCut, M390, 204P. They're not going to work for those. Dude, you go through some paper? Yes, I do. That's why I buy it, though. I write on all of it. Most of it's all got notes on it. American freedom. I use 300 and 600 ceramic and 3 strops, and I get stupid shot. Yeah, I got a bunch of strops over here. I could easily do a progression, See how the color coordinated, though? Like I said, stroppy stuff. Right here. Everybody should have some sort of strop. I don't care what kind of strop you have. You should have a strop, though. You should have a leather with an abrasive on it. That's on a piece of wood, preferably. You could just lay it on a bench, but it's nice to have it on a firm surface. So some sort of leather that's a strop with an abrasive over the surface, 2 diamond plates, and a ceramic rod. You pretty much have everything you need. From there, I would start adding stuff later, in which you might want to. Like even like say this is just a good idea, right? A 300, a 600, and then like a 1000 grit king stone. That would be where you have the Japanese water stone, you have the diamond plate, you can reprofile. You don't have to use the king stone, but for removing a burr, for refining your edge, maybe for some chef knives, things like that, that will work very well. But I just don't recommend anybody buy any oil stones, water stones, wet stones, or anything to learn on. They're harder to learn on because they're messy. Your fingers you ever had your hands in water too long and they get wrinkly? Well, that's what's going to happen to you with water stones. Your hands are going to get wet and they're going to stay wet the entire time. So if you stay on that stone for an hour, your hands are going to be underwater for an hour. It gets annoying, and then your fingers, it's a mess. Then it's messy. You're constantly cleaning up the water. Some of them are very thirsty. What that means is they constantly require water. So while you might have just pulled it out of the water, it literally dries up like super fast. You got to keep applying it. And then they dish. So then you have to flatten them. So now you have to worry about buying a whole bunch of supplies just to make sure your stone will work. Diamond plates, you don't need nothing. You just need a stone holder. Get a base, stone holder, slap it in, go to town. No flattening, no mess, no nothing. Dust it off. Hey, what do you think of the Ria EXO utility knife, gravity knife? Why sharpening you can easily replace the blade when it... I don't think... you're talking about the utility knife one. Yeah, that's cool. I separate utility knives from pocket knives, and because there's all different types of knives, right? Just like there's all different types of hammers, right? There's sledgehammers, there's framing hammers, there's ball peen hammers, just like screwdrivers. There's different types of screwdrivers. There's different types of everything. Just like there's different types of knives. A utility blade is going to be used for specific things. Usually, you use a utility blade to cut on surfaces that you would never want to put your knife on. Like, you don't want to drag this across concrete. You don't want to cut aluminum or copper or things like that with it. Could you in a pinch? Yeah, but the point is that you're not trying to do that over and over and over. So you use a utility blade for the things that are just going to destroy your edge, and you use your pocket knife for slicing and cutting, breaking down cardboard, plastic, food, the bigger things, because in many cases, your edge, you need more of an edge. Like when I was doing construction, I had my utility blade, and then I also had my pocket knife, and I couldn't tell you how many times my utility blade would not work for what I needed. Meaning like one time in specific, right? I was on a roof and I was underneath the shingles, and there was this piece of rosin paper that was rolled up underneath the shingle, and I couldn't get it to lay down, right? My razor blade would not reach it, right? The blade wasn't long enough. Pulled out my pocket knife, slipped it in there, was able to cut that rosin paper out, pull it out, and then lay the shingle down flat. It's just, just one time, but I'm saying like things like that happen all the time where a little tiny little blade isn't going to work. You need something bigger. And that's why we have different knives, right? Utility blades are great. Everybody should have one, especially if you do construction or any type of labor. You should have a utility blade. Haven't got an old Boy Scout oil whetstone that you've got one? Yeah, I got them too. My dad raised me on those too. My dad got when I was a kid in the 60s. It still sharpens perfectly. I just wish it was a bigger size for my kitchen knives. Yeah, those are silicon carbide stones. Yeah, they're just cheap stones, you know. Do they work? Will they work? Yeah, they'll work. Are they good? No, they work though, you know. It's just it works. So you don't expect to get a high performance edge. Don't expect, you're going to get an edge, which is good. So yes, they work, but like you said, man, when they're small, those little small spit stones, I personally would never use them if I have like one of these. This is the thing, is that we've learned so much in the past 20 years about sharpening and about steels and heat treatment than we have in the past 200. And a lot of makers and old school guys can't understand that. They can't wrap their head around that. Using a silicon carbide stone, right? Why would you use that when you can use something superior? It's kind of like using the metal honing rod, right? At one time, a metal honing rod probably worked because our steels were so shitty, right, that we could use a steel honing rod and it kind of worked, which I don't even know if it ever worked, to be honest. I think it's just literally a sales hack to fool you into destroying your edges so you have to buy new knives. That's what I think it's for. But a ceramic one is superior in every way. Let me grab the metal one. Let me show you. Let's talk about what these things can do. The only thing this can maybe do, and I don't even think it does that, is realign your edge, right? Say if your edge has like a spot that's warped, you can straighten it back out. And that's maybe, right? However, in the process of realigning your edge, you're stripping the teeth, the microscopic serrations off of your edge. Okay, so it's also working against you. Ceramic will realign your edge while adding new microscopic teeth, so it won't strip them off, it'll reapply them. You can use it for micro beveling, you can use it for mirror polishing your edge, so you can use it for a finishing stone. I could literally go off of a 1200 grit stone and then mirror polish on this. So you can micro bevel, you can edge maintenance, you can mirror polish, you can like I said, hone your edges back. You can deburr on them, like we did already today, like how we did on this stone and this. These are both ceramics. So why would I use this that doesn't fucking do nothing when I have something that's superior? And that's my point. Like, we have a lot of things like that. So yeah, there's things that old timers and people like to use. Iron sharpens iron, which is the most outdated statement ever. Like, I don't think people realize, we have steels that are like this. This is probably, if I had to guess, it's probably like 56 HRC, right? That's the hardness. This is like 66 HRC or something. That's a huge difference. I know it sounds 10 points. That's not a lot. That's a shit ton. That's a lot. A diamond is like 98 or like, I don't know what what is it? I know it's 10 on the hardness, but the HRC. So let's just say this. What? I can't hear you. Yeah, there's hardness. It's a hardness scale. I'm just saying, I don't know. It'd be a 10 out of 10. I know. I don't know. That's why I was wondering. But ceramic, everything has an HRC, a hardness. And steels go up to, these days, in modern day times, we have steels over 70 HRC. We have some that are like 71, 72 HRC. That's crazy. I don't know if they've ever made a honing rod that hard before. This is, though. This is way over that. So 80 HRC? What? That's not diamond. That's not diamond. That's topaz. So ruby would be like a 9, I think. Rubies are 9. A diamond is a 10 on the, and talking about the hardness scales. So there's diamond, ruby, and then there will be like carbides and then a couple other things.
10 is the 10 on the hardness scale for like regular shit is the equivalent to an 100 on HRC.
There we go. I was right.
You can always.
I made it up too. I was joking. What?
Tell them to repeat this so they can hear it. You can always.
Hold on, they can hear you, baby. Go ahead.
They said they couldn't.
I got the microphone facing you.
Okay, that means that anytime you want to figure out the hardness of something, you can divide the HRC by 10. Right? If a diamond is 10 on the hardness scale and 100 HRC, that means the value difference means that you could you know what I mean, divide by 10 and you'd get your answer.
Gotcha. Thank you, baby. So the steels that we're sharpening, yeah, they're not all like that. Some of them are 57, 58 HRC. I personally don't want no steels like that unless it's a fixed blade. The only time I'll use a knife like that's that type of HRC, it better be a hard use fixed blade. I want my steels hard at an optimal range. Like, you know, like my pocket knives, my chef knives, I want them to be super hard because that's the way they sharpen better, they take better edges, they deburr better, they hold better edges, everything's better. The only thing that softer goes better with is toughness technically, which is usually not a big factor with knives unless if you're using it like an axe. My HRC on Blue Chew is 113. Dude, you're dude, your lighting is sharp. 89 HRC. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I actually just recently got this. This is a ring light. I have another light right here, but we're not using that one. We're using this new one. I think it's good too. I think it looks good. I appreciate you guys hanging out. What is your opinion on the Tormek T4 knife sharpener? I have one, but the results are not satisfying when compared to the sharpness of traditional Japanese stones. Yes, so that's the thing. Nothing but nothing will compare to a stone, whether it's diamonds or any other stone, right? Natural diamond stone or natural Japanese stones, whatever. Now diamonds will be superior for certain steels just because of the hardness, right? The carbides in the steel are way too hard for an aluminum oxide or a natural Japanese stone to cut. But the majority of steels it will. But either way, a Tormek is it's like a wheel. Just for people that don't know, it's a wheel that spins and you put your knife on there. That's never going to be able to compare to the flatness of the bevel and you being able to set your scratch pattern consistently. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. It's not bad. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't have it or use it. Use it. You know, that's great. Just like belt sharpening, right? Belt sharpening it's good. There's a place for it. What is the place? Production companies are able to sharpen your knife and get it to you for an affordable price. You can't expect a company, say a pocket knife company, a chef knife company, you can't expect them to hand sharpen your edges. That's not going to happen. It never will happen unless if you're buying it from a custom maker that really cares that much. So that's what I mean, but that's still care. So in order for them to get this to you at the price they do, they have to be able to sharpen them fast. So a belt sharpens fast. Now here's the downside to belt sharpened edge, and the reason why your factory edges always go dull fast. In most cases, you know, they burn the edges. So I would say a huge portion of the time, anytime when they sharpen on a belt and there's sparks, they burnt your edge. So what they do is they put it on a high-powered belt that's going really fast, and then bzzz, bzzz, and it heats the edge up so hot that it burns it. So now, in order for your edge to be the best it can be, you have to remove that steel. You have to get rid of it. You have to resharpen it. You have to get into good steel that wasn't compromised. So a belt going so fast and creating heat is the downside to a belt. The upside is that, yeah, it goes fast. It goes fast, and yes, it can leave a very sharp edge. Is it as sharp as a stone? Fuck no. Does it last as long as a stone? No. Everything, it's never as good as a stone sharpened edge. But it's fast, and it is sharp, and it does work. And the scratch pattern's consistent, like we want. The difference between a factory edge is the scratches are straight up and down. So just think of serrations that go straight up and down. A hand sharpened edge or stone sharpened edge is at an angle. So just think of a saw blade with the teeth at an angle. Mailing mine out to you tomorrow. What grit DMT diamond stone should I buy for a chef knife? You should get a 300 and a 600. Now, I would say if you want to get a set, the 3, 6, and 12. So you can literally get a set of 3 stones, just like this. 3, 6, and 12. You can get it from Ultra Sharp. You can get this size for 138 bucks, linked in the Neeves Knives store down in the description. Now, if you're tight on cash, you can go with 2x6s. Chef knives are big though. You probably want a big stone, right? You can get the 2x6s, which is this big, for like 56 bucks, and you can get all 3 stones, a 3 and a 6 and a 12. I prefer those on pocket knives if you're going to use them at all. These are always going to be better for everything just because they're bigger. They're going to last longer. They're going to be easier to use. There's so many things. So I would say get a set of those, 138 bucks, a 3, a 6, and a 1200 grit. Link down in the description, Neeves Knives Store. You can also just go up to the top search bar if you go to the Neeves Knives Store sharpening supplies. Once you click on it, go to the top bar. It'll have a search bar and just put Ultra Sharp. It'll come up. And then you can go to their store. But Ultra Sharps are more affordable. DMTs if you want USA made. If you care about it being USA made, as you can see, it says USA made right there. That's up to you, you know, if that's something that matters to you, which it just might, you know, so you're going to spend a little bit more money, but it's good. Atomas are good too. I believe Atomas are made in Russia. I'm not positive. It might be Ukraine. Like these new stones I'm testing right now, these are made in Ukraine, and these could possibly be the future. These are resin bonded diamonds, and then I have metallic bonded diamond stones down there. And so far, so good. I'm still testing them, but these have the potential to be the best sharpening stones I've ever experienced. I'm going to test them out a little bit more to make sure that I don't want to make that statement without, you know, really testing it thoroughly. So that's what we're doing. What's the difference in the $140 and the $60 set? I was about to, the size. The $60 set is 2x6s. So the two, I'll show you one. I got one right here. So this is a 2x6. That's a 3x8. That's the difference. So this works. You know, you get 3 of these for like 60 bucks. One of these though, or 3 of these are better. So it's just size. They're gonna last a lot longer, cut better, cut faster, work better. You want a stone holder though, make sure you get one of these. You need one of these. Now stay away from these. Stay away from these. You see these all over the internet. 1,000 companies are selling these as the best sharpening stone on the planet. Don't buy them. They're only 20 bucks, so they trick you. They're a water stone. Do they work? Yeah, they work. If you're only sharpening chef knives, this is fine. It'll work. Oh, just said I was. You guys see me? Hey, Kia, thank you, man. 14 SEKs, whatever that is. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the donation. But yeah, stay away from these unless if you are literally just, and you'll never sharpen anything but a chef knife and you're on a super tight budget. But there's so many other stones for the same price. Like you can get kings, you can get diamond plates. This is a double-sided stone. It says a 1,000 and a 6,000. That's not true. It's like a 600 and a 1,000. That's what it is. There's no 6,000 here. Trust me. This is basically a 600 grit, and this is basically like 1,000 grit. So just be careful, because when you're online, man, it's not even that people are shilling. A lot of people just don't know. They don't know. They don't understand. They're not qualified. And even though they can sharpen a knife, they haven't sharpened enough knives. They haven't sharpened enough steels, like with me, right? I've made videos on telling you exactly what grit works on what steel. How did I come to that conclusion? From sharpening thousands of knives in that steel. So now I've learned every single steel. I didn't just sharpen chef knives. I didn't just sharpen simple steels. I sharpened all the way up to the best of the best, the hardest shit you could fucking sharpen, on all different shapes and sizes. So after you've done that enough, you come to conclusions. This is better than this. This works better for this. This is superior, right? And so that's the thing. Like, you know, some people, they might have only used 5 stones in their life, right? They might not have $10,000 in sharpening stones, which I probably have more than that, to be honest. But it took me probably, I don't even know, thousands of dollars in sharpening stones until I started realizing that it was a waste of money. I wasted a lot of money, and I could have done everything with some fucking diamond plates, because I was buying aluminum oxides and Japanese and Arkansas and all these other stones. And then once I got a diamond plate, I almost wanted to slap myself. Like, this whole time, you could have just got some damn diamond plates and everything would have went better. And that's why I try to encourage everybody, get diamond plates. I'm not saying don't get water stones and don't try those and everything, but get good on diamond plates first, then go to those. That way they work better for you. Because at first, if you're learning on those, it's kind of like, how can I say this? It's kind of like learning to drive, and trust me, I did this, so I know how the difficulty level. It's like kind of like learning how to drive an old antique stick shift dump truck when you're trying to learn how to drive, versus learning how to drive a modern day manual knife, or automatic car, right? Learning on an old, shitty, ancient dump truck that's a stick shift is going to be a lot more difficult to learn how to drive than, say, a modern day automatic car, right? You just shift it in a drive and you drive. So granted, you should learn how to drive stick. You should do that. But, you know, it's better to learn how to drive than learn how to drive stick. Just a thought. I know I've learned how to drive stick when I was a kid, so I know it's not really a good argument. What are your political positions? I would definitely not lean left, I'll tell you that much. But I grew up in the projects, so I grew up in the projects. I'm a felon. I fucking you know, grew up around a lot of violence my whole life, so I've lived in very, very, very liberal areas, in Section 8 neighborhoods, low income areas my whole life. So I know how easily it is to get trapped in that shit, and how it's designed to keep you there. And it absolutely is. I've stood in the lines. I've been to the food banks. I've stood in the lines starving. I've done all that. I know how it's a hold that they want you to stay in, and that's why I would not lean that way anymore, because I've seen what it's done to my community and the people in my community, and it's disgusting to me. So but that's just me, you know. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I honestly don't. I'm a freedom guy. That's what I am. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the freedoms of everything, and I would die on that hill for you. Like, for you to say whatever you want, for you to believe whatever you want, religion, political, whatever. I don't give a fuck what you believe. We can still be friends. I don't care. That's the point, right? The point of freedom is to be able to fight for the thing you disagree with, right? It doesn't matter if I disagree with you. That doesn't mean I wouldn't fight for your ability to do that. And I think that's important. I think if we all did that, we would get along a lot better. You know, as long as we understand, like, we're in a free country, and with a free country does come responsibility on understanding that we're not going to agree. That's the beauty. You know, we're not an echo chamber, so I wouldn't want an echo chamber either. So freedom cost $1.05. Freedom cost $1.05. Crew wear or M4? I like crew wear, but M4 is a motherfucking beast. M4 is great. That's like 9 out of 10 edge retention. The only problem is it doesn't have good corrosion resistance. So if you don't have a coated blade, it will rust. Just pretty much guarantee that. It's like a 2 out of 10 for corrosion resistance. And then for toughness, it's got good toughness. So it's really tough. It has great edge retention, poor quality corrosion resistance. Crew wear is okay corrosion resistance. Not good, not great, like a 5, maybe like a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Edge retention, really good edge retention, like a 7 or 8 out of 10. And its toughness is off the charts. So that's like an 8 out of 10, right? So it's very tough, holds a great edge. But the reason why I picked CUBEY over M4 is its ability to hold a fine edge. So CUBEY, remember how we were talking about earlier, some steels take mirror polishes better than others? CUBEY is the type of steel that will take a mirror polish and hold it for a very long time. And it gets fuck you sharp. Like, I mean, incredibly sharp. So because it gets that, you know, since I love sharpening, I like the steels that get hair whittling sharp and are just insane and hold that bite. Now, M4 will get incredibly sharp, but it doesn't do well with a super fine edge. So you want to keep it around a medium grit, you know, 600 to 1200 grit, right? Well, 400 to 1200 grit right in there. With CUBEY, you can go up to 10,000 grit and it just gets nasty toothy. Like, it's beautiful. However, M4 has an incredible working edge holding ability, meaning, like, when you think of working and fine, think about this. Hair shaving is like a fine edge. The ability for your edge to shave hair, that's a fine edge. Working edge would be its ability to cut paper, right? If it can cut paper cleanly, it's got a good working edge. So M4, while the fine edge might not last forever, the working edge will, which is the most important one. Now, because I'm a knife sharpener and I love steels and stuff, I really like CUBEY's ability to hold a fine edge. Problem is that once the fine edge goes away, once it stops shaving hair, it's very quickly going to lose its ability to cut paper. So it doesn't have a good working edge holding ability. That's good fine edge. But for fixed blades, well, I like it on everything. I love it on folders. I love it on everything. CUBEY is like one of my favorite steels. It's like literally one of my favorites. I have my top 5 favorite steels. I just did a couple weeks ago, and it's on there. But it's super tough, so it does really well. Like right now, I have a custom knife being made with Steve Kalari, and that's going to be in CUBEY. I think it's 65 HRC. So it's going to be fucking great. You want to drop the names of those stones you're testing? I need some stones. Yes, but the reason why I will, but I don't want to, just because I'm testing them and I don't want to recommend something without testing them really good first. But here, I'll give you the shit. This is the resin ones though, so this isn't the most premium ones. The most premium ones are their metal bonded ones, so just know that. Same company, metal bonded. This is resin bonded. So this is, look at the diamonds in this. Look at that. You can see that this has got you know, it's filled, you know what I mean? Like, because the point of the resin is that it's like a chocolate chip cookie, right? The chocolate chips are the diamonds. It's filled throughout the cookie. It's filled throughout the resin. And the amount of diamonds it has in there is just incredible. Very similar to the Neeves. The metallic bonded ones are basically diamonds mixed throughout copper and zinc, I think it is, and they melt the zinc and copper with diamonds on the inside of it. So it does the same thing. They supposedly last longer and are supposed to be better, and those are CBN, not diamond. The difference between CBN, it's basically the same thing. They're just lab created diamonds, but supposedly CBN is a little bit more abrasive. It has a little bit sharper corners, and it has a little bit better wear resistance. And the metallic bonded probably has something to do with that too. So those are the ones I'm testing, but I'm not recommending them yet, just because I gotta still test the metal ones, and I don't want, say if I start using them, right, say at the end of the week, they start chipping, breaking, or they wear down really fast or start dishing or something. I don't think that's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. The chances of that happening are like slim to none, but I've recommended things on the channel before, and then I've had to take it back. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to create a video saying how I was wrong and I'm sorry and I shouldn't have told you to buy something, you know. So I like to make sure I test things before I tell you about them. Forget it. He never looks when I ask. He is in the zone. What's up, Blade Walker? What'd you say? K110 and D2, any difference? No. Just different countries. That's it. Different countries make different steels. Same thing with like M390, 204P, and 20CV. All are just different countries. 20CV is USA. So, Bowler, M390, you know, it's like just There's just different countries that make the different steels, and so there's different numbers. So some steels are very different, and some steels are the same. It just depends. But K110 and D2 are the same. There's a couple other steels that are very similar to D2 that are like the Chinese mixture of it. Just picked up a Kalishnikov and a Lightning. Hell yeah. Do you like French girl? Do I like a French girl? What kind of question is that? Y'all know Earth is flat, right? Or I don't know if we're going to go down that damn rabbit hole. Recommendations from Micron, Stropping, and Company. There's only one company I'm recommending right now, and it's linked in the NEEVEKNIVECO store down in the description. Go to the first link in the description and get Stroppy stuff. Okay? It's at the front page. Once you click the link, you'll see it at the top bar. It'll say Stroppy stuff. Get Stroppy stuff. If you're only going to get one, get 6 micron. So my favorite is the 6 and the 9. I like the 9 probably the most because it's best on toothy edges, medium grit edges. 6 micron works on everything, polished or toothy. That's the beauty of it. That's why I recommend it the most if you're going to have a one and done. However, it's not going to be the best for either one, right? It's not the best for a toothy edge and it's not the best for a mirror edge, but it works for both. This would be better for a toothy edge and you wouldn't want it for a mirror polish because it's going to leave scratches a little bit more because it's 9 micron. 9 micron's like 1800 grit or something like that. When you get to like 3 micron, that's like, or 2 micron, it's like 5,000 grit, right? So it's finer and finer and finer. So if you want to do a polished edge, the best would be a 1 micron, a half a micron, even the 3 micron would be great for a mirror polished edge. But 6 is just the best all around. One and done, get a 6. 6 micron is the shit. If you're only doing toothy edges, medium grit edges, factory edges, get a 9. You can't really go wrong with any of them. Any of them are going to work. They're still diamonds. It's a diamond emulsion, and the concentration is nice. That's why I recommend them the most. Because yeah, they're a little expensive, but you're getting diamonds. You're getting high concentration. What does that mean? That means that when you put the thing across the surface, you can guarantee you have diamonds across this entire thing. Just like we showed in that stone we were looking at. Same concept. The concentration. Look at the diamonds. That's basically the same thing your strop is going to be. All those things reflecting. It's the same thing on this. You just can't see them because they're so tiny. They have to be able to spray out of a bottle. And for, the micron size, you need them smaller, right? So this is covered in diamonds. Now, it's going to last a lot longer than any other compound because it's diamonds. Diamonds don't wear down as fast. Say if it's an aluminum oxide or a chromium oxide compound, that stuff breaks down fast, especially when you're using hard steels. It's just, the steels are harder than the thing you're stropping on. So will it work to polish and stuff? Yeah, but it's not going to work very good at creating the teeth at the apex, which is the most important part to stropping. When stropping, you're not necessarily, I'm not saying you're not always, because sometimes you are. There's times I strop to polish my edge. But the main purpose of stropping is either to remove burr fragments or to refine the teeth at your apex. So when you're doing edge maintenance, say in between sharpening, say if I sharpened my knife last week, right? I've been using my knife for the past couple of days and it's still very sharp. I'm going to hit it on a strop. I'm going to hit it on a strop to keep the sharpness going. So now, instead of my edge lasting, say, through 1,000 feet of cardboard, it's going to last through 10,000 feet of cardboard because I'm going to continue to strop it and maintain it and cut in little tiny micro serrations at the apex. Has anybody tried the aftermarket stone attachment for the work sharp? There's 2. Damn it. There's 2. What the hell? Has anybody tried the aftermarket stone attachment for the work sharp? There's 2 out. 1 from HAPSTONE. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about for the work sharp? Yeah, I've recommended it a million times. This is it right here. Talking about this. So you have the professional and then you have the precision. Highly recommend getting one of these if you have the pro or the precision, because what this does is this allows you now, instead of having to use the work sharp stones, which are fine, the work sharp stones are fine, but it doesn't allow you to use anything else but their stones. So now you can clip, guess what? Resin bonded diamond stones or any stones. I can grab this stone. I can grab This stone, you know, you can grab whatever stone you want, basically. That's the point. And different sizes too, because you can adjust it. So that's why I highly recommend it. Now, do you need it? No, you don't need it. If you get the Workshop Professional System, which I have a video coming up on top 5 best sharpeners that's literally going to be dropping here in a few days. Watch that video because I, one, put a lot of work into it, but it's basically quickly going through my favorite 5 fixed angle knife sharpeners. So if you want to buy a fixed angle knife sharpener, that's the video you want to watch because it's quick. It's not going to be so many details that you're like, just get to the next one. I'm literally breaking it down, telling you which ones are the best ones and why very quickly. But it's in there, just so you know. It's in that video, the Workshop Professional, but with the aftermarket stone holder. So I still recommend it without. So if you don't want to get the aftermarket, you don't want to spend any more money, you don't want to have to buy more stones or whatever, it comes with everything you need. That's the beautiful thing with that system and why I recommend it so much. The Professional comes with 5 stones, 5 diamond plates, a ceramic, a strop. Problem is the strop's preloaded with aluminum oxide instead of diamond. That's the one negative. But it has an angle finder and yeah, in the whole system. So I got it sitting right here. I can grab it if you guys wanted. I'll probably be in trouble for that comment. What was it? Not you, Jared? Oh, okay. I found anything is good to strap. Yeah, the only thing that, like, yeah, Gunny Juice is the only thing that can compare to Stroppy stuff, but I still think Stroppy stuff is better. It's better because I think the concentration's a little bit better, and it's color coordinated. It's easier to apply to. That's another thing. Oh, I don't care about language. If World War III started, which knife y'all taking to the front line? I'd probably take a trench knife of some sort because I'd want to be able to puncture through vests. So I think, well, there's 2 different ways you can look at it. One, you want a survival knife, something that you could break down things, make fire, chop wood to make shelters and traps and things like that, which a push dagger or a trench knife will not do. So in that case, you're going to want a full tang buoy, basically, because a buoy can puncture and a buoy can chop. So I would say probably get something like that. I actually have one right over here that I'm about to review. It's pretty badass, I'm just saying. But you want to make sure it's full tang. The problem with the K-bar, the original fighting knife, American fighting knife, is a K-bar. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but it sucks. It sucks. It always breaks. Every time those things are tested, they break. They were designed for fighting and nothing else. That's kind of the problem. So yeah, it's great if you're just going to fight with it. But if you're planning on cutting trees down or batoning with it or anything, it'll break. It breaks at the because it's a stick tang. It's a rat tail, basically. It's a stick tang. You want a full tang. Full tang makes the whole entire thing solid steel, so it's not going to break. But yeah, if I'm going only into combat and I'll never have to worry about making shelter or traps or anything like that, give me a trench knife, something with some stab to it. Jared, scroll up and check out the Crewwear Mannix I mentioned and tell me what you think of the sale. Why didn't you just say it again? I can't find it. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, I don't see it, bud. Are you planning on making a budget version of the FLN? No, but we do have a different, an upgraded version coming in the future. The problem is it's USA made, man. It's USA made. There's no way to bring down the price. I didn't make it, right? I'm just the designer. Would I like to have a budget version? Yeah, and maybe I can talk about that in the future. Right now, you know, I want to make sure we promote this one and get this one out. And the next version is going to be better than the first version, in my opinion. That's an opinion thing, though. Like, I want it thinner, right? The first one's thicker, which is tougher, but I want it slicier. So, and then the grind is going to be changed a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more sharper or, you know, keener. TKELL likes to make extremely tough as nail stuff, and while I appreciate that, this knife is more for doing damage to body parts. So I wanted it as slicey as possible. And we're going to change the steel. So, but I'm very happy with the first version. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll see if I can't talk to Civivi or something and maybe do something like that. Because that's not a bad idea. What is that turquoise knife? Oh, this one. So this is the Rivery, the KANSEPT Rivery, KANSEPT with a K, KANSEPT, Rivery. This is the premium version. It does come in budget versions. A lot of the knives I show come in affordable and premium. This is premium. This is a 10CR Damascus, which I normally don't recommend Damascus unless if it's a good quality Damascus. This stuff's good because, well, there's only a few really good Damascuses. There's some really renowned makers that do Damascus well, and then they have some that have recently been done, like the 10CR and the 9CR powdered steel Damascus, and then Damasteel, which is like the best Damascus because it's a powdered steel, so it's one solid billet. The reason why Damascus in most cases is shit is because you have different softnesses in steels because it's different steels mixed together and then etched. So the edge retention is not good. Sometimes they don't sharpen good. Sometimes it's hard to remove a burr. But when you have it in like this stuff or the Damasteel stuff, it's very easy to sharpen, takes a really good edge, and has a long-lasting edge. It's great shit. And this has a great pattern to it, as you can see. It's almost like a raindrop pattern. I love it. Then we have titanium bolsters, and then Tiffany Blue G10 with a titanium milled pocket clip that works very well. Good lock bar access. You see, this is the lock bar. You just push it out of the way, and watch how smooth this thing is. Very smooth. It's a top flipper, or you can use your thumb like a lighter. It's just like lighting a lighter. Literally, if you can light a lighter, you can flip this. Literally, it's just like put your finger up there, light the lighter. Works good. Very ergonomic. Love the blade shape. Drop point blade. It's a clip point blade. Straight clip point blade. Beautiful geometry. Good access to the lock bar. Ceramic caged bearings in the pivot. So the reason why it's so smooth is because it has little ceramic balls in the pivot that roll like a car wheel, kind of. So, but yeah, it's damn good. I like this one. This is like a gent knife for me. This is something, you know, you can dress up. It looks damn good, man. That Tiffany Blue G10, man, it to me, it almost blinds me. Freaking love it. There is other versions, though. This is just one option. There's a lot of versions of this, all the way down to a G10 and 154 CM version that you can get for like, I don't know, 60 bucks. This one's, you know, going to be like probably 160 to 180 or something. Hey, Jared, I bought, hey, thank you, John. I appreciate you being a member. He's one of the Benchmades. Hey, Jared, I bought a O-Knife Freeze 2 copper 154 CM. Yeah, the Freeze is pretty good. I got some videos on it. I don't know if you guys know, but O-Buy is shutting down. Not O-Knife, O-Buy. Like, I guess the place that sells like all their shit. They contacted me and said they're shutting down. I don't know. Maybe there's changing names, but yeah, O-Knife is cool. Here's the problem. I'll tell you where the problem is. And it's not a big problem. If you like the designs, get it. They make good shit. It's Kizer, though. Kizer's making the knives. So if you want to save some money, you can just buy a Kizer. You know, granted, it won't be their design. So if that design speaks to you, yeah, get it. But Kizer's making them. So Kizer has a lot of designs that you can get. And you can probably save like 10 bucks buying it straight from Kizer. You're not going to save that much money because they obviously sell it to O-Knife and O-Buy or whatever at a wholesale price. So, or not wholesale. They probably, you know, you guys know what I mean. They buy them and then put their name on it and stuff. Leather is a better strap. Yes, leather is going to be the best way to strap, in my opinion. You can use like balsa wood. You can use different things. The most important part is going to be the abrasive. So you want leather with, in my opinion, I think you want diamond. I think diamonds are the best. They cut the best, they cut the fastest, they work the best, they work the longest. They're superior in every way. Now, if you're on a budget, get a chromium oxide, you know, something you can spread across. It's like a crayon. You just rub it on leather and it works. It's just not the best. Yes, jeans. Yes, you can use denim. Rockstead actually recommends you use denim for their knives because they have a mirrored convex. So what they do is they recommend you getting a metal polishing compound and putting it over the surface of the denim and then strop on the denim. I've actually done that. I've actually made the strops like that. I need to make another one. I did test it out for a little while. I need to do it again. I did tend to like leather better, but as far as for convex grinds, they work good because as you pull it across, the jeans kind of roll up a little bit as you're going across it. So it tends to work really well for convex. I've heard of using cardboard for strap. Yeah, you can. You can put abrasive on that too. A lot of people use newspaper. Newspaper, actually, the lettering in the newspaper is made from aluminum oxide. So it makes sense. Is it the best? No, right? There's ways to improvise. Just like right now, I can grab a coffee cup and do a micro bevel, or I could basically sharpen my edge really quick on a coffee cup. You're not really sharpening, you're creating a micro bevel, but the ceramic rod right here. So the ceramic rod would be better, but I could use the bottom of a coffee cup. You just got to make sure it's not glazed. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to read these last two comments from IKEA and Brand New American. Got a chisel sharpener for a drill press. Comes with acrylic plates and 3 discs made for sharpening. One disc has a strap on the back, jig plans included. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of things, man. You know what I just bought? I just bought a jimping file. So it's a file that you can create. You can make jimping, this stuff. And then let me read this last one. Do you think it is possible to start a side hustle with knife sharpening service? And how much would you charge for a sharpening service? Do you charge by the knife or does... So a lot of people charge by the length. I used to do a service. That's what I used to do. Was a sharpening service. That's another reason why I've sharpened so many knives. But I don't do it anymore because it got just too overwhelming. I wasn't able to keep up. But yeah, there's knife sharpeners in here that run a service. And yeah, you have the potential to do very well, but you have to brand yourself. You have to advertise. You got to build a platform somewhere, like on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, wherever the fuck you want. Build a platform so people can find you and see you. But yeah, you can charge anywhere between $20 and $50 an edge. It just depends on the type of sharpening you're doing, the type of knife you're doing, how thick it is, things like what steel. Typically, I was charging about $30 an edge, typically. Now, that would go up or down, like, depending on what they would ask for. Like, say if it was a super thin edge and they just wanted a working edge, I could just do it really quick for, like, $20. If they wanted a belt sharpened edge, like I was saying, a factory edge, which I don't necessarily recommend, but some people are on a super tight budget. I do that for like $10. Most people wanted a freehand sharpened edge or a fixed angle sharpened edge, which I would charge between like 30 and 40 bucks. If it was a big thick knife, I would charge 45, 50 sometimes, like for Medfords and things like that, because they take sometimes an hour or two to sharpen. It just depends. But that's why I recommend getting an extra coarse diamond plate to start off with, because would you rather spend 2 hours reprofiling a knife or 30 minutes? Because that's the difference, if you're not using a very aggressive stone. You want to start off with the most aggressive. But yes, absolutely, anybody can start a sharpening service. Anybody can be successful with it. I know many people that are. I was. Shit, I did it as a side hustle for a couple of years and made good money doing it. My clientele got so big I couldn't keep up, and I started feeling bad because I was trying to run the channel and do it at the same time, and I was holding on to people's knives way too long, so I wound up having to shut it down because I just wasn't able to keep up. Now I send them to other people. People still contact me for it. I just ship them over to other people. But Kyle's in here. He runs a little service. Jared, hit me up after the stream. I got info for you on that company. Okay. Work tough, stay hard, and don't let your meat loaf. Thank you, brother. Yes, work hard, stay tough. Until next time. I'll see you guys tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Peace. Don't forget, tonight's live, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I will see you guys then.